Good morning, Roz, my succulent little garden snail. And who would we be scaring today?
Wazowski, you didn't file your paperwork last night.
Oh, that darn paperwork. Wouldn't it be easier if it all just blew away?
Don't let it happen again.
Yes, well, I'll try to be less careless.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Whew, she's nuts.
Always.
And welcome back to the Second Round Podcast. Another episode, another week for the lads. We are watching the Leafs games during this, so if you hear shouts or depression, you know why. It's pretty straightforward. But aside from that, Stevie Rideout is back, so we are not a man down this week.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry, boys. I apologize.
What's up?
They're saving lives. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
How'd you feel about that? Yeah, you got to address that.
I actually meant to talk to you guys about this before the pod started because, I don't want to say too much on the pod. But
What do you mean you don't want to say too much?
Client
Like-
confidentiality.
No, not that. But,
No, address it. Say it.
nurses do way more than check a blood pressure.
Well, yes, of course. I agree with that.
And, Donna
we-
Holden saying to you about, she fixed, these people and all this, blah, blah, blah. I understand where you're coming from, how it makes it sound like she did it. But, a lot of times, and, especially Donna, because Donna's, I know, you guys think Donna's a meme, but she's, one of the best nurses I've ever seen, ever. She is incredible. So, anyways, when she says, she did this and she did that, it's more than likely true because she knows so much, and likely, sometimes she does know more than what the doctors do. And the thing with nursing is that 99% of the time, you know your patient better than the doctor because you're with the patient 12 hours a day, whereas the doctor sees you for, 5 minutes?
Me, personally?
No, anyone. But it's different if Hags.
No, because we can talk about,
I know
we
you
can talk
have a lot
about
of
my
in
experience.
hospitals and stuff. Because now in pediatrics, because I know you were mostly in hospital as a kid,
Yeah.
I do agree with you. Nurses don't do as much as what they do in the adult world, as they say. But
Now, I was also in ICU in health science as well.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But ICU is also a different breed.
Yeah,
But-
well, what I was trying to articulate was not just to clear the air. Not that you're upset or that.
No,
anything
I'm not
like
upset
that.
at all. I'm just.
I
know
just-
you're-
Did you
My-
feel attacked?
No, I knew it was all joke.
But
I'm a goddamn hero, though.
yeah, you are. A
I'm
goddamn
just
hero.
kidding. I'm kidding.
But my thing was it's not. They do so much. Nurses, like you said. When I was aside from my specific, because for those of you that may not know, I have a condition called cystic fibrosis, and it's a lung thing, and it does a bunch of shit. So I have a team of doctors that I see probably every 3 months, and my Karen Doyle, she's my nurse practitioner. She's amazing. She does a lot, and then I have a set of doctors. Now those set of doctors rotate. So you are right that I don't see. Karen knows me way more. I don't talk to any of my doctors about anything. She refers to them on bigger things. But in terms of when I was saying nurses, what I more meant was I don't know what it's like in the ER, and that's what I wanted to ask you. But what I was saying is when you are admitted and you are in the hospital, they are 100% doing 99% of the care. But it's not you're bleeding out on the table and they got your hand inside doing stuff.
But that's
But that
also
may
false,
be
though.
ER. That may be ER
Yeah.
stuff though, which is what I wanted to ask you about.
So okay, the ER process. This is gonna be so boring for some people.
No, man, this is interesting.
ER process. The first person you encounter is a nurse. You go in, you get checked out. They ask basically what's wrong, and then if it's nothing pressing, you'll wait and get triaged. And if it's pressing, you'll go in right away. Then they do a general assessment, do your vitals, and blah blah blah. If it is an actual emergency, you get put into a room right away. Then you get handed off to another nurse. So that nurse then does a full assessment, head to toe assessment. Ask this, that, and the other thing. Ask about your medications, any past history. You have to basically research your patient within the first 5 minutes that you know them, before anything happens, anything's ordered, blah blah blah. The doctors will order the stuff, but the people who hang the IV meds or give the needles, give the pain injections, get deaden the skin, blah blah blah, all that, that's all nurses. So and in Emerge, if you go into Emerge for, I don't know, something very minor, a broken arm would be considered minor in Emerge.
Yeah.
Should be. You see the doctor for the 3 minutes that you're being casted up, and oftentimes it's not a doctor, it's a resident. which would be like a med student who just graduated.
Yeah, because like my brief memory of when I was knocked out and like gave the splitting of my like head thing story, I remember being like super.
I never knew that happened. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like it wasn't like when I say splitting the head, it's not like my fucking lips were like apart like the fucking demigorgon from the thing, but it was like inside was all fucked up because my teeth like split open my whole mouth and like it went like up here to here. You get what I'm trying to say? Like it wasn't like my lips were ripped apart or something, but it was like definitely not great. And I remember like obviously being concussed and shit like that, and the doctor was coming in looking at that, and then he left. And then when I was leaving, someone was doing my stitches.
Yeah, so nurses don't stitch.
That's what
they
I
take
thought.
out stitches.
That's what I thought.
And that kind of stuff, but they don't stitch. No, that's nurse practitioner, resident, or doctor.
Yeah, so like that was not me trying to like call out nurses.
No,
I was
oh my
just
God,
talking about
no.
my experience. I was like, I don't think that was a nurse. Not saying she didn't do
No,
everything
I
else
think
leading up to that.
stitching's so cool though. One time,
Oh, I didn't say this. I don't remember saying this on the pod last week, but I have a fucked story about that stitch. The doctor kept up having to apologize because as she was doing the inside of my mouth, the stitch kept breaking. So I was there for easily like way longer than I should have been, and she was trying to work it up the top, and every time the top one kept breaking, I guess because like it was like a wide cut or maybe the skin was so soft there, but just repeatedly kept breaking. I was in tears, like just tears, because they deaden it the best you can, but you're still in a lot of pain. It's not like I was on morphine for a fucked up mouth, and I was there fucking sucked. But
When you
anyways.
told that story, I was kind of like, and in the moment, I never really realized because I was like kind of like still recovering. But when you were telling the story, like you said that you were playing hockey, and there was a fifth wheel trailer.
Yeah,
next to where you were playing hockey.
Well,
I
no,
can picture the
it
trailer.
No, yeah, it's Henny. It was a camping trailer.
It's on the other side of the road from his house, right?
Yeah, now probably. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just wondering, like, wouldn't you have like seen it or like seen that it was there and
we
said like,
used
hey,
to-
we should probably avoid this?
No, because we used to just play in Henny's driveway, and like whatever he had parked in the garage was parked in front of the garage, and we used to go like, I guess what you would say horizontal.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we would play at Henny's driveway, we were much smaller because you remember I was fortunate enough to get the cord back in grade 9. So we were playing in Henny's driveway. Like this was probably grade 6 when this happened. So we're young bucks. Like we have more than enough space in that driveway at that age to be playing, 3v3 or whatever we were playing, 2 goalies. Okay. So I was just driving wide, running this way and
Just running and gunning.
and fucking decked.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I got a story about the whole stitching thing. We can move on, obviously, after that.
Sure.
But so I was doing work with the Growlers last year.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was sick. So I think it was the second home game I went to. So it would be me and me and a doctor on, and the doctor he's been with like the St. John's Maple Leafs. He was with the Fog Devils. He's always been like with professional hockey here. So anyways, I can't remember his name now. I want to say it was Ian. I don't remember. But anyways, I met him. He was a beauty, and we were down by the corner sitting with like the top staff for the Growlers. Maybe loved that. Like that was sick. And we were in CBS at this point. I actually remember when the Growlers were playing in CBS for those few games. So that was down there in like the corner where the Zamboni comes out is where we were stationed. So anyways, all of a sudden, some guy on the away team got a puck to the mouth, like a slap shot was tipped and hit him in the face, and he skated right off and went right into his dressing room. And then I had a headset on, and I was told by the trainer to go into the room right away. So me and Ian went into the room, and Ian had to stitch up this guy. He was from like Utah or something, like a really random place. And anyways, he asked this guy, I was just there like helping. I wasn't stitching up, like I said. And anyways, he asked me if he could have my phone and text a picture to his mom. And I still have the picture on my phone of him like holding his lip, and his lip is just completely gouged.
Oh,
I'll show you guys later.
Why do you still have it?
Because just for the story.
Man, that's a sick. Yeah, like that's sick.
That's really cool.
Montreal.
I didn't know there was a doctor
Pittsburgh.
designated for that.
Yeah, there's a doctor at every game.
So that's a pretty sick gig, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're into like sports and stuff.
Unreal good.
Yeah, and then if I remember a player needed blood work last year, and he had to order it, I had to draw it, and then I had to send it off to the hospital. Like he only had to write his name on the rec, right?
Yeah.
But
Cool.
So were you just there for like? Is that like a volunteer thing, or
That
is
was
that
volunteer
with,
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because I was thinking about getting.
So you're like a volunteer nurse.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I was looking into starting with like going to school to do athletic therapy.
Yeah.
And
Doing
that's-
what?
Athletic therapy.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said at first.
And I was like, I was him and Han about it, but it's 4 years away, and it was right after I bought the house, so I didn't know. Like, anyways, that's not really on my mind anymore. But it was a good experience.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So like when you say athletic therapy, like what, like massage therapy and all that kind of shit? Or?
No, athletic therapy is strictly sports. So like it's heavily based on like a kinesiology degree or HKR or whatever.
Yeah. So like massage therapy and stuff, isn't that? Isn't that?
No, that's different.
Oh, okay.
Massage therapy is not a degree.
So what's kinesiology again?
Kinesiology is a study of your body movements.
Okay. So like someone comes in and says like they're really sore here and all this kind of stuff. Is that?
Yeah, like
And you can like assess
yes,
their body based on what they tell you.
right. But like, so it's kind of weird. I don't know a whole lot about this either, but like, there's a kinesiologist.
None of us know anything about anything on this. So just fucking.
Okay, so
I know.
Have you,
All I
not,
know is
have
there's-
you not heard anything I've said the past 6 fucking weeks? I don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
That's our
ever.
pod total right there. None of us know anything about anything.
Yeah,
I'm
listen
down.
to us.
literally just fucking spewing bullshit. What was it that I talked about last week? And you
Oh my God.
Hags called me out for it. He's like, this has been like so many times now where you were just saying stuff where you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I can't remember exactly what it
I
was.
can't either.
I think it was the only reason I called you out on it is because I think you were like giving like a statement, like you weren't necessarily being like, "Oh, I want it." You were like, "I think it's this," and I was like, "I don't think like we know. I don't think any of us. We don't know anything about anything." Like
Yeah.
Boz said.
Since we're on the video, people are probably wondering, Hags, what the fuck is going
They
on
can't
right
see
there,
it.
buddy?
They can't.
Oh, they can't see it?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
I can
okay.
show it at the end. We'll save it for the
Okay.
end.
Yeah, it's all
I'll
good.
move one of the cameras and show it.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty
a little,
cool.
little cool painting. Shout out to Nathan. It's
Yeah,
little-
whatever his
little
name
tease.
is. Yeah, it's pretty
Nathan.
cool. It's
So-
like a street art type thing with all the spray paint and like.
For those of you that watched last week's episode and saw me until my camera fucking shut off, shout out to Nika, but it is what it is. It's my fault. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and she called me. I mean, she's a loving girl. It's not her fault, but still.
And that's called covering your ass.
yeah.
He backtracked.
But
Yeah.
It's a journalist right there.
And that's
Pull
called
back
realizing
his
realizing
comments.
what I just said, and now I gotta fix it.
But either way, you saw that most likely that I love huge Marvel, DC, Batman, all the works. So got a really cool painting done in like 5 minutes by this guy that was doing spray painting at Christmas at the Glacier. Shout out Christmas at the Glacier. And it's a sick painting of like Captain America mixed with Batman. That's all we'll say. And,
Shout out to the fucking cranky bitch at the door too.
I was gonna say, how much does
Whoa.
it cost to get in at the door?
$9.
Yeah, it's not
$9
bad.
each.
Yeah,
Holy fuck! They must be
I
making
didn't
a
think it was.
killing.
I didn't think it was too bad
It
actually.
was like $2 at Holiday Inn the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear yourself what you just said? It was
Oh,
at the
yeah,
Holiday Inn. What is
Yeah,
it?
and didn't you
What
say
is
it
this?
was shit?
It
Pitbull.
was shit. Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Pitbull at the Holiday Inn coming
for
in.
cover, man. That's like going to the Cotton Club.
Straight up.
Jeez, bye.
That's steep.
I should have asked Mrs. Like, you giving the lap dances here? No, I just paid $9 to get in here.
Should have, bye. She was kind
Holy
of
fuck,
cranky.
she was a fucking bitch.
I wouldn't go that far.
Mrs. was like fucking 70 years old.
I'm
And
not
like,
going that
no,
far.
No, I got a problem with this, okay?
I'm not
because,
going that far.
No, you got one fucking job. Your job
Yeah.
is to sit at the door, smile, and stamp my fucking ticket.
And
That's
take
all
money.
you
gotta
gotta
take money.
do.
You gotta take money too.
Say
No,
hi-
no.
She don't even have to take money.
We paid for it, and then as you're walking in out of like the main, like the front gate there where you pay for it, there's just a lady like stamping your ticket to say you've
Are
been
you sure
here
she's
this
not
day.
like a volunteer?
She's probably a volunteer.
Well, if you're volunteering, that makes it even worse.
All right, continue.
If you're willingly doing it and then being a bitch about it, don't fucking do it.
Maybe she got roped into it or something. I don't know. Maybe she has to do
Dude.
community service.
No, fuck off justifying this woman. No. Fuck
I didn't know what
off.
you did.
There was nobody. Okay, so there's two people.
she was
at
just
the-
a little.
Let me
she was
paint
a
the
little
picture.
flippant.
Let me
it.
paint the
Flippant.
fucking picture. Okay, so you go in.
Good pun.
Yeah, paint the yeah. So you go in, you go to the booth, you pay your money, Mrs. gives you the ticket, okay? Then you proceed to go through the doors. There's 2 tables. There's one here with like probably like a middle-aged man, and he's like as nice as you can be, perfect, doing his fucking job, okay? And then there's another girl to the right who's in front of him, so like if you are going there, like, you immediately think because this girl is right here on the door, like, okay, well, this is who I got to give my ticket to. So anyway, this bitch is fucking waving people on to the buddy behind her when there's nobody at her table. And then I went up to her and I was like, you know, hey, how are you doing? Like, hey, how you doing tonight? And whatever. Mrs. Never fucking answered me, stamped the ticket, and then gave it back to me. And I was like, all right, fucking bitch. And then anyway, she gave me like the draw ticket. You like put your name on for a draw for like $2,000 or whatever. And she was like, yeah, put that upstairs there, up the stairs, up there. And I was like, what? Like, what? What are you saying? I was like, anyway, all right. But like, we need to think about this, okay? Whether she's volunteering or she's getting paid. Honestly, if you're volunteering, it's even worse. Because if you're volunteering, that means you're doing it out of your own time and you're volunteering your time to do it. You got one fucking job. Sit there with your fucking stamp and be nice. Okay? Say hi. At least you can do is say hi to me. I'm sick of this bullshit.
I mean,
anyway,
So you're mad she didn't say hi to you?
Yeah,
no,
like I'm gonna
she
be,
never
I'm
said
gonna be
hi.
real. Hey, can
and
I?
then she stamped my ticket and she was like, she gave me the fucking ballot.
Yeah.
And like literally, Josh, when I'm not even joking you, man. She was like, yeah, bring that upstairs. Sign that upstairs and drop it off up there. And I was like, what? Like, why are you so mean? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're like fucking 65, retired. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Jesus Christ.
Why do you sound like
I
the
don't
secretary
know.
from Monsters
I
Inc.
know,
there?
I know.
Because that's what she
Mike Wazowski.
But that's what she sounded like. When you go there tomorrow,
She was
Mike,
like, this is her, this is her.
Steven, when you go there tomorrow, I pray to fuck she's there. 'Cause you're gonna know
I'll
exactly who I'm talking
I'll
about.
take a picture of her.
She had short blonde hair, and she was probably like 4'11", like your typical Newfoundland like old lady, but just a rawest bitch I've ever seen. And oh
I
my
don't
God.
know if she was as bad as the picture that Zach is painting.
She was terrible.
She just wasn't
When your job
friendly.
consists of sit here and be nice to these people, and you can't even do that, then go the fuck home out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe your job was taking your ticket and then giving you the other one to go upstairs.
Okay,
That
well,
wasn't
maybe
her
being nice.
her
wasn't
job
bad.
was to take my ticket, stamp it, and then give me a ballot, which was a little tiny piece of paper. That is her job. Her job consists of
She
saying
did that.
hi, stamp.
She did her job.
No,
yeah.
she didn't, because her job consists of being nice to me.
Is that in the
It's
contract?
Christmas at the Glacier. What? Okay. Fuck off.
Contract.
What'd you say?
Is that in the contract?
Is her job description to be nice? Yes, I think so.
It's probably. You're not wrong. I don't know. Like, I agree that she was not the best for customer service.
Oh yeah, you know her too.
You know
know
what?
that.
You know what?
Okay,
you know
give us
what?
your
take.
You know what?
My take was she just wasn't super nice,
I'm
but
not
I
having
don't
this.
think she was
I'm
like.
not having it.
I don't think she
Okay,
was
okay.
fucking.
She didn't
Okay,
tell me to
okay.
go. She didn't tell me to go fuck myself.
No,
but she didn't
no.
tell me.
But listen,
hi.
you were.
How was your night? I said hi. How are you doing tonight? Like in a very nice way.
Yes.
Because I'd like to say I'm very approachable. I'm a nice guy. It's like, hey, how you doing tonight? Nothing.
Okay, this is how I'm taking it. You were more happy to be there to begin with, so what your interactions mattered more. Hags did not want to be there, I don't think.
No, I didn't. Well, I don't know.
So Hags
I'm
is downplaying
50-50 there.
Because if this
Why
is at a
can't
golf
we
course,
pass
No,
that
but you
puck
want to
soon?
know
if
the
this
problem.
if
You
this
wanna
was at a
know-
golf course and that fucking guy at the golf course in Florida, you were pissed about him.
Okay, but that was a totally different situation.
Same fucking
See?
thing.
Exactly.
Same fucking thing.
Exactly.
End of the day.
Are you joking?
End of the day, you are paying an admission fee, and you expect these people to have some sort of standard the way they talk to you.
Okay,
At
but
the
that
end,
guy,
bare bones.
No,
if you work in a golf pro shop,
no, I'm
that's
not
all
having
your
this,
job
like,
is.
this
You're the same
is
thing as a fucking
so
cash register.
much
I agree.
slander.
Yes.
No, there is so much slander going on right now. That guy at that golf course.
He was a course marshal, wasn't he?
Yes, like this was not the same
He
guy.
was a one-man
He was
show.
a one-man show running that place. Number two,
You hated that guy.
Oh, I'm ready to rip into him. I'll tell you the whole
Okay.
damn story. But for our
This is going to
audience-
sound the exact same thing as what I just said.
You want to bet? You want to bet?
Because
We'll do a poll.
the only difference is that he was because he was a dick to you for no
Yes,
fucking
okay.
reason.
No, but I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
the same
That's-
thing that this
nah,
bitch was
that's not
doing.
the truth.
Rules.
That is not the truth.
The only difference is that you were paying $100 and I paid
No,
$9.
no,
That's the
no,
only
no,
difference.
no,
Paid 20.
no.
Yeah, it was
no.
cheap at that
Yeah,
time.
it was
Was
like, no, it was
It
like
was
it was probably like 30 max though, but like because it was nighttime golf, so they put the premium. Rate
Oh,
up
are
a
we?
little bit.
I'm thinking
Yes.
of the Disney course.
No, there was no. He wasn't a
No.
dick at the Disney course.
Remember,
no
remember
one
there
was.
was 5 of us golfing? And
Yes.
Yes.
At the-
Totally different situation.
We're talking about the Arnold Palmer course.
No, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that we did
Alex.
night golfing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Buddy was a fucking idiot in the
Yes,
pro shop for no
yes,
reason.
and he was like flexing on me that he like once knew the caddy of fucking.
And then when we were the 5 of us were in the
who
same
was it?
tee
I mean,
box.
Fred
yeah,
Couples,
because there was
Fred
like a
Couples.
group of 9 in
Yeah.
front of us, and we
Yeah.
were
Green.
like, okay, well, like if
And
they
then-
don't care,
And then he was like flipping out at us, like literally flipping out, like drove his cart up, was going berserk at us when the guys behind us snuck on the course, ladies and gentlemen. Like they literally walked up the street. We saw them come through the woods as we were playing. They like gave us a nod and we were like, we don't give a fuck. So there was a foursome behind
were
us that
beauties, though.
stuck on the course. Let us play through.
there was
them.
a 9-some in
There
front
was
of us.
a nine-some in front of us.
All
and
on the green.
And
Yeah,
all on
on
the
the
green at
green.
once. And the excuse he gave us was we were like, the group in front of us, there's like 9. And you could see them driving to the next hole as a group. And he looked at us and he went, they're different though. They're not playing the hole together. I was like, what do you mean? They're all together. He's like,
They all
they're
had their
waiting.
putters.
He was like, they're waiting for them to finish. I was like, so you're telling me what they're doing is they're teeing off as a foursome, letting the first group that tees off as a foursome tees off, plays the hole, and then they wait on the green for the group behind them to play, finish the hole, and then they move to the tee box as a unit. That's playing as a fucking 9-some. There's no difference whether you're watching the group behind you play or not. You're literally playing as 9. And then he threatened to kick us off the fucking course. So that is not the same as this little old lady who just wasn't the most pleasant, but she wasn't like fucking.
Like I said, she wasn't being a raw bitch. Like I wasn't like, "Hey, how are you?"
exactly
You
what
literally
said.
called her a bitch. You were like, this
Well, she
fucking-
wasn't. No, there's a difference between being a bitch and being a raw bitch. Okay, she was like, she was just not like literally. This is what pisses me off is that she's probably the same fucking person that's complaining about all younger people and how nobody wants to work and all this bullshit. And then she's fucking like going and volunteering and just being a bitch for no reason. Like, oh, you got one job. Just say hi. That's all you got to do. Just say hi. I'm good. How are you? Good. All right, now we're done. Move on to the next person. That's your job.
Also, to be fair, to add to Zach's point, I don't. Again, if Zach's your rating her out of 10, what level of bitchiness?
Like 10 being like raw bitch or 0 being raw bitch?
10 being raw bitch.
7.
Okay, I'm giving her. If you're at a 7, I'm giving her like a.
You're
a
gonna give her
5.
like okay.
Okay, because she.
But
just,
you also got to realize something. I work in customer service, selling insurance. Okay.
That's fair.
The amount of fucking raw bitches that I've called in and being bitches for no fucking reason, and I'm like the nicest guy in the world, and I'm like, what did I ever do to you?
I'm the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
Yes. So like I'm talking to people all day, and people that are like people that have money because like I'm selling travel insurance. Like they all have money, and like they're just fucking idiots for no reason. So it's like when I see someone like that, and like I'm just being nice, and they just choose to be a bitch for no reason. Like I don't fuck with that because if I was being a fucking dick to you, you'd be like, now what's your fucking problem, you young feller? Like
The only thing I will add is I saw Danica and Jess walk to the left.
I'm getting very animated
and
right
I
now.
said-
this fucking bitch.
and
pissed
as
me
we were
off.
walking
I said to
in-
Jess immediately. I was like, that fucking bitch. I can't stand that. Cause you got one fucking job.
Oh, we're doing the same thing.
You got literally your job description. If you were to post this job, if I was on Indeed,
I'm doing a
and
live,
I was working for
it's one
Glacier.
job counter on the fucking video.
Yes,
pod, how many
literally.
times
If
you
this
said
is
it.
being
If
a
okay,
job,
Josh, give me a
it's not
second.
part of the
Give me a
task.
second. I'm interrupting you now. Give it up. Let me finish. If I was working for Indeed or working at the Glacier or City of Mount Pearl, whoever the fuck runs it, I was like, all right, we need to find volunteers for Christmas at the Glacier. Okay, we need to find people that can accept tickets at the door. Okay, do up an ad and say looking for this. Okay, what's it include? Looking for a person to do 3 tasks. Accept the ticket, stamp it, and say hi. That's all you got to do.
Looking for an
Yeah.
energetic individual.
Yeah, looking for a nice, energetic individual that can just, it's Christmas. There's Christmas music playing. Everybody's in a good mood. Why do you got to be a bitch? There's no need.
Oh,
Montreal must have just scored.
Montreal are pumping Arizona right now.
Yeah.
Are they?
Greggy's
animated.
going
It
nuts
was
up there.
3-0 when I last seen.
4.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
if not
I'm now
solid
done.
kicker,
I'm
maybe
now done.
5.
But anyway, that's my TED talk for the night.
Oh my!
That's good.
The fact that you think it was an Indeed posting for that job is fucking
Well, I'm
criminal.
just using an example. More like the Facebook post.
Got
that-
a full HR team for Christmas at the Glacier. They're
Well,
doing interviews.
Like, can't even fucking hire people to like screen your fucking like security shit at the airport and They're getting
I'm
people
just-
to volunteer at the fucking Glacier.
I think my comparison between the golf guy and that lady was pretty on point.
That was pretty valid.
Boss,
Now, buddy,
that guy was like that is not.
that guy
it is
just thought he
not
was
the
a
same
hot
thing.
shot.
He
Yeah.
literally was.
But this girl
flexing.
didn't think he was a hot. She didn't think she was a
no.
hot shot. She was just a bitch.
She was just unpleasant.
I was
That
just
guy
like,
was an
why are you
asshole.
so
She was
mad?
unpleasant.
Like, why are you so mad? There's just no need. It's such a good mood. Such a good mood. You walk in, Christmas music going, everybody's having a good time. Why you gotta ruin my mood? Fuck off.
All right, well, let's
There's no
make
time for
Zach's
you
mood
anymore.
fucking better here and change the topic.
Yeah,
because he's getting
Anyway,
pretty
see-
fucking pissed.
Thanks. Thanks for joining.
I hate to break it to you, but people turned it off 14 minutes ago when you burst their eardrums with "She's a raw bitch."
Well, she was. There's no need.
Holy fuck! I don't know what's worse, this or Jail's fucking story.
Oh, jail story.
I'm
Jail,
It's longer.
knows.
This is good. This is definitely longer. We're at 21 minutes. 25? 21? 25? Oh my. Well, anyways, point is, Leafs game, 1-1. Leafs are on a power play, and surprise, surprise, they're going to do a backwards pass. So that's great. But I came up with something that worked today. Not going to lie, productivity was a little bit down because when I thought of this, I couldn't stop coming up with these situations. Okay? Basically, you've heard it before. It's like you could call it Would You Rather, but it's kind of not. I called it one stays and one goes. So one stays and the other one is erased from existence, like it never happened. Now, there's some caveats to it depending on the situation, which I will explain when I ask you the question, but you'll get it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Like, for example, first...
So are we gonna go one each? Or
No,
are we
just like it's like a
spitting it out?
group.
Okay.
It's a group thing.
It's a round table discussion.
I made 46 of these on my lunch break. I doubt we're gonna get through 4 because there's gonna be some debate. Okay. The first one is kind of easy, just to get our feet wet, understand what the premise is. Luke Skywalker or Harry Potter. One stays. The other one is erased from existence.
Okay, this
None
is
of it
easy
ever
for this
happened.
room, I feel.
Can I go first?
You can go first.
So I seen like a little Twitter thread the other week, I think, and it basically explained how Harry Potter is a straight rip-off.
We talked about this on a pod,
Yeah.
but
Did we talk
previous
about the
episode.
pod?
We
Okay.
talked about it.
Poor man Star Wars.
Yeah.
Poor man Star Wars. So
yeah.
it's like an orphan boy who like goes out on an adventure. He has a older wizard magic figure that I
Mhm.
guess is his like peer.
But then
or,
he
like,
meets another older one that teaches him even more. And
Yeah.
so much.
they die and he has
Yeah.
to avenge them.
It's
like,
the same
whatever.
thing. I
Yeah.
pick Luke Skywalker.
I think it's the original story, and it's I guess more notable in society. So
Ooh, that one's debatable. Harry Potter is.
I think Star Wars is bigger.
Timmy?
Who are you going with?
Yeah,
Now, if you read the books,
read the books. I didn't read the books. I only seen the movies. So, if I had to pick,
Say it to me, read the books.
what?
Read the fucking books.
Did you read the books? Did you read the books?
Oh, Jesus. That's gone.
give them a warning.
Morning, RIP headphones.
I can't. I don't know. That's tough because
They're meant to be tough, buddy.
it's just I don't
What
know.
did you
like,
watch more growing up?
Neither.
But remember,
Like,
it
I
is
never-
not
I never
just,
watched-
it is not.
But that's what I
Alright.
mean. It's
Let me-
I would almost have to say you have to keep Luke because Star Wars started so much.
Let me paint the picture, Zach. Got
paint
a
the
fresh
Paint the
bag,
picture for me.
fresh
the
bag
picture.
McDonald's with Mark on a Friday. Go back to Mark's house here.
Tomorrow night, baby.
You gotta
25.
flick. You gotta flick on a show or a movie. Sorry, you gotta flick on a movie.
Yeah.
Are you flicking on a Star Wars movie or a Harry Potter movie? And if you got Star Wars, Harry Potter flicks.
See, this is tough because Mark would never watch either or. So,
All right, take Mark out of the equation.
all right, so it's just me.
just you
If
by yourself.
But you see, if I throw on Star Wars, I'm not putting on one that Luke is in.
What one are you putting on?
Probably like the Mandalorian.
This is a
or
good
something, right?
counter argument.
Force
Luke's only
Awakens?
in like fucking 4 of them.
Yeah, like
Well, no,
I
it
like
depends.
I'd rather Harry Potter movies because I find the older Star Wars movies are so tough to
Now,
watch.
can I explain one thing, though, to be fair, just to clarify how this game works? Although these characters are influential to their movie franchises, so you can make the argument they wouldn't exist without them, I'm saying the character of Luke Skywalker and the character of Harry Potter. Now, again, like I said, these probably, if you take them out, obviously these movie franchises don't exist, so that's a fair argument for this one. I'm just saying for future reference, it is the character.
Yeah,
some of
you're
them
talking just
yes,
that one
because
thing.
like I've done some of these are like side characters and stuff that I thought were funny or like specific. So just so you're understanding,
Yeah.
it is the character.
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's like you can either look at it from like I look at it like if I'm watching a movie, I would throw on Harry Potter, but like man, like Force Awakens, sick movie. I really like Rogue One. But like Luke was not in any of those.
That's
Who's
fair.
in the end of Force Awakens.
He is, technically.
Yeah,
but like
but, like-
regardless, you're not getting any Star Wars without the original.
Exactly.
trilogy.
So I
You're
mean,
not.
if without Luke Skywalker, those Star Wars movies
no,
don't exist.
and then like you could.
So I would
change the
I would
character,
take away Harry Potter, and keep Luke Skywalker because
Fair.
you could also argue like you can look at it from a bigger picture is that if Luke Skywalker don't exist, then Star Wars probably wouldn't have blown up like it did, and then
Mhm.
you're talking about a totally different thing.
What's the new Harry Potter movies that are like Harry Potter's not even in them? What's it based in their universe?
Yeah, Fantastic
Beasts. Yeah.
Has anyone
So-
ever watched any of those?
I
I watched the first one with Danica in theaters. It was actually pretty cool. I like.
But
They're
how many is
prequels,
there?
aren't they?
Yeah, they're prequels.
How many are there?
3.
Okay, so you
But
only
the
watched
last one kind of I think got canceled.
Oh, really?
Didn't
Yeah,
the
the-
new one like just release?
Yeah, there was like something on the go with it. I don't know. I
Got
don't,
canceled as in like it stopped, like they hauled it out of theaters.
No, like they
Or, like,
stopped
the whole
production. Yeah, like it just I don't know. I remember seeing a headline. I don't want to say something and it just not be true. So I just remember something happened to the third one, whether it was that or maybe it's the fourth one. Maybe they were planning on making a fourth one and they decided to scrap it. I don't know.
See, I could be way off base here, but like, there was zero buzz for those fucking prequels.
The first one was pretty well
People were
advertised.
pumped
but-
that it was coming back in a different thing. I mean, the thing that I think got the most play, ironically, was the play they made, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and it was about like his kid or something, and it's like a theatrical play.
Never heard of it.
Didn't know that
But
existed.
that's my point. Is I don't know. But
Every
again,
time
it
a
could
new
be-
Star Wars movie comes out, you know it's fucking coming out because everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
Don't
like
disagree with
Star
you
Wars,
there.
in my opinion, is much bigger than Harry Potter, but that's hard to say.
I don't know if it's. I would agree it's
but then
bigger,
if you
but I don't
take out
think
Harry
the word
Potter,
much.
well, but no, because then if you take away Luke, you don't know if you're getting the Millennium Falcon at Disney.
Oh yeah, the rides and everything. That's a whole conversation. Like we can go down the
Sidebar?
rabbit hole. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what these questions are
That's a
meant to
good
do.
bout. The Harry Potter rides versus the Star Wars rides.
Yeah, like the Harry Potter rides are fucking good. The Star Wars rides are pretty well good too.
Star Wars
Wars.
good.
I think it's
Ride
pretty
broke down
even.
on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 3 Harry
Talk
Potter
about
rides.
a buzzkill, eh?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Are we talking? If
We're not fucking reminiscing again. Now we're not reminiscing.
I'm just
again.
saying. I think that if we're talking overall concept, the Harry Potter rides are better.
There's more effort put into that world.
Here's the thing, though. Harry Potter rides are better. The Harry Potter ride world is more in depth. There's so much the train
like
to
the
go.
Star
through.
Wars one's bigger.
Universal.
No, it's not.
Like in Universal with
It's not even close.
We're talking about okay, well they did expand it. I guess.
Is like dueling
it's not fair,
dragons
it's
there
2
in Harry
parts.
Potter?
No,
they used to have it right next to
Yeah, really.
Dueling Dragons became the
Oh yeah, because you
bike.
didn't go with us.
the bike
Yeah,
No,
they
I
got
wasn't in
Hagrid's bike ride
Which is
there
sick.
now, which
That
is
ride was
sick.
sick.
But
Oh, is that like dueling dragons?
No,
Not at all.
no, not at all.
Okay.
But it's so cool.
It's more like I don't know, like the cheetah is like really fast and on the ground. You don't do any loops.
And
or
then you
anything.
do like
Yeah.
a little drop at one point.
It was really fun,
and
actually.
it was.
we
so-
waited too long.
too
But if
long.
you waited like less than a half hour, you'd really enjoy it.
I think
Yeah.
less than an hour for just average
Yeah,
ride
but
times.
Fuck, we waited for like
Hour and
fucking-
60.
Yeah, like
I
2
was
hours,
flipping
man.
out
It
because
was
I had a
crazy.
tea time booked. I was
Yeah.
so mad. But anyways, point is, I think that it's a tough one.
So what do you go with?
I'm going with Star Wars because I think that it's more influential as a
Yeah.
movie franchise. And without Luke Skywalker, he is your prototypical hero.
Yeah.
Like he is what the character of a hero is based
See,
on.
like to me, when I think of Star Wars back when I was growing up, all I thought about was Obi-Wan.
Anakin.
He was
yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, but like that's the weird thing about Star Wars is like depending on when you started watching it, it's 2 completely different stories. The first one is the story of Luke Skywalker and his father, and then you learn about Anakin. For our generation, and I think it's actually the better way. George Lucas himself says it's the better way to experience it is going episodes 1 to 6 because then it's a one big movie about the rise and fall of Darth Vader,
Yeah.
and then his redemption in the last one, killing the Emperor and coming back to the light side. Like that is the full movie. And Luke Skywalker, you could argue, is a secondary character to Anakin. Anakin is the main. Anakin is the
main
chosen
character.
one. And then the fucking newest 3 ones fuck all that up, and it pisses me off. But that's good movies. Good movies. I like that's the one thing I find I can separate when it comes to Star Wars better than I can Marvel is like I enjoyed those movies, but from a canonical like the story perspective, fucks the movies up. Luke Skywalker just becomes a hermit and isn't a hero anymore for no reason. Makes no sense. Like that is not Luke Skywalker. Rey is just god tier because it's a Palpatine clone. Makes no sense. Like
clone.
Palpatine had a clone of himself that became his son that then had another.
Oh.
It's like granddaughter, but it's like a clone. It makes no fucking sense.
Is that the backstory?
Yes,
I thought
dude.
you said a son.
No. So the Emperor Palpatine has like a son who is like half clone. Like he doesn't have it with like a normal woman. He like impregnates this thing with like his own. So it's like half a clone, half his son. And then that runs away because it doesn't randomly want to be part of the dark side or whatever, and then it like hides and has a kid with some random woman that becomes Rey. So then she's no one because like her parents were murdered by the Emperor, and then he like it's so convoluted, so dumb, makes no sense. And then the famous line at the end when she's sitting on Tatooine, she looks at the old fucking lady, and the lady's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Rey." And then she looks off at the sunset, and Rey who? And she sees the Force ghost, Leia and Luke, and she's like, "Rey Skywalker." I wanted to shove so many things up her ass when she said that. Like fucking.
Is that the only reason she's hot, too?
Oh, well, that too. But still, like, fucking outrageous. Point is, the new ones are very entertaining from a movie perspective. I think the visual effects are awesome. I actually lightsabers are sick. I like Kylo Ren. He can be a little bit emo pussy sometimes, but like overall, I do like his character. There's so much to it. But point is, Star Wars is Star Wars. I'm picking it over Harry Potter every day because Harry Potter, at the end of the day, is just Star Wars.
Are you Star
with
Wars as
sucky
well,
lightsabers.
Steven?
I'm so like.
You just don't
I
care.
picked some ones.
I don't care. No.
I knew you weren't gonna. I picked ones that.
No. I enjoy it.
No. We're going with one that you might have more of an
All
opinion.
right, take one or leave it. Pepsi or Coke?
No.
Pepsi, Coke, RC Cola. Fuck, Mary kill.
Fuck, Mary kill.
Kelly Clarkson.
Huh?
Kelly Clarkson.
Jesus Christ, are we doing fuck, Mary kill?
No, God, no. This is just one I picked for Stevie because I know he's a country fan,
Kelly
country
Clarkson,
music
alright.
fan.
Oh, whatever it is. Vanish, whatever you said. Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson or Carrie Underwood?
Carrie Underwood, no doubt. There's no question.
What, Vanish?
Yeah,
no,
she
Carrie
never existed.
Underwood.
Vanish Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never
You don't like
existed.
Kelly Clarkson?
Whoa.
Why not?
I think Carrie.
Let's
be honest. Carrie Underwood is way hotter.
To be honest, I don't know it.
Wish I
I
had my
don't
phone
really. I don't really
Carrie
care
Underwood
about either
music
one.
way better. Like Kelly Clarkson has like
One
I don't
hit.
even know
She
if
has
I
a
can
one
name.
hit.
Yeah, I don't even know the song she
I
sings.
think Kelly Clarkson, ironically, is the better singer, but she does not have the same level of hit factor in her music. I would agree with that.
That's fair.
What's
yeah.
her song? She has like a one.
She has one
Since
song.
You've Been Gone. She got
Yes.
Since You've
Oh,
Been
yeah.
Gone.
No,
Like,
not that one.
no, she has like she's like an 05 bangers type of girl.
She was on American Idol, right?
Yeah.
And
She
so
was the first
She
one.
was
to
also
win.
one of the hosts on The Voice too.
Yeah, she
Or
is.
coach,
Yes.
coach on The Voice.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Kelly Clarkson's nuts. If you ever watch videos of her singing, like I said, I think she is a more talented singer than Carrie Underwood. But Carrie Underwood got some bops, man.
I just don't
They
have
both
either
do.
one of them in my eye.
But Carrie
in
Underwood.
my
But here's
Apple
my
Music.
tiebreaker. Carrie Underwood's just god tier hot. Let's be real.
I think Carrie
Like
Underwood.
Mike Fisher pulled that. Mike Fisher.
Yeah,
former
Mike Fisher's
Ottawa
a fucking
senator.
man rocket though.
He's a good looking dude, but how the
Weird
fuck did he
dude,
get in
though.
a room with her? Like, think about that. Like, she's
Because
out here.
Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville.
That's
But I
literally how
thought
they
they
met.
met-
That's where he's from.
They met
isn't-
before.
They met before, yes.
That's
he
why
got,
he moved.
Yeah, but
That's why he got
isn't
traded
he
to Nashville.
from Nashville?
No.
No, he's Canadian.
Yes. He's a Canadian dude playing for the Ottawa Senators when in like 07.
Not
as
even
the-
like a star. He's
no, he's like their
a B
second line.
fucking
He's their
star,
second line winger when Heater, Spetz, and Alfie was the top line. He's a man rocket, no doubt about that. And then one day you're like, and he's dating Carrie Underwood. And then 2 years later, he
became
got a
more
trade to
famous for-
Nashville.
he
And it's
became
like,
more
what is
famous-
happening? Yeah, he became Carrie Underwood's husband.
Yeah.
But like
he
my
wasn't
point
an
is,
NHL
You know
player.
what's
how
kind of?
did he get
You
that?
know what
How did he
though?
get
Like
in that
maybe
door?
he's like a really nice guy.
Oh,
And,
I'm
like,
sure he's
maybe
great.
He just like
he says some pretty conservative things. So he's
Yeah, but Carrie Underwood's
gotten
from the
some
South
flack.
and she's a blonde girl.
Oh,
Let's
really?
be real.
He's gotten
She's
some
probably
flack
fucking-
recently for some of his opinions on politics. And yeah, maybe Carrie's
I
into that
don't-
too.
I don't understand why. Might be
Look at
controversial.
another man rocking Tyler Sagan on the screen, boys. I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
Timmy's eyes have
Hagg's
not left the
drooling over
screen
there.
since
Oh,
he
I
came
love
up.
Tyler Sagan, man. Look, boys, you can make fun of me. I'm 100% straight. Tyler Sagan's man rocket. I don't know what else you want me to
I'm
say.
pretty sure I said that like 3
opinions
times
on
on
the
this pod.
reverse retros.
So
Love 'em.
garbage.
You
I
don't
love
like
'em.
that?
No,
I love him.
You don't like that?
there's so many memes. It's like Leafs went with New Jersey. It's that guy with the purple shirt holding the purple shirt, the exact same one they get. For
Yes,
Christmas.
that I agree with.
Yeah,
that
it's
I
like,
agree
there's
with.
no
Well, that's why I
change.
love. That's why I
Oh, he scores
love.
first.
That's why I loved the Justin Bieber collab.
Those were sick.
I love that. I
Those
don't
were
care what
sick.
anyone
Why
says.
didn't they
I
wear
love
'em?
them.
I don't know. They showed up. They only wore one game,
Yeah,
man.
those are better than the reverse retro. The
Yeah,
Bieber ones.
Yeah,
I think
the
they're
Bieber
so
one
sick.
was sick. Fucking reverse inside out. You got the smile logo in the middle.
And you
Man,
had
just
the-
like our Shell jerseys. Our
It's
Shell
sick.
jerseys are fucking
They're
beautiful.
sick.
The
I
CN
did such a good
towers
job
on the
those.
sleeves.
I think they gotta scrap this reverse retro shit and just go with like what the NBA does and make cool fucking jerseys.
Agreed.
Yeah.
NBA has
Yeah.
like how many jerseys? Like 4 or 5. They just
They usually, man, they do like probably there's like at least 2 alternates for every team, pretty much. Like,
and they just do fucking cool designs. And
Yeah.
But the
rip 'em.
Coyotes jerseys, the
It's sick.
reverse retros,
There's
are
some
sick.
reverse retros. I don't
You
think
see
that's
the
what the
Sharks?
boys
Well, I
are
think it's
saying.
too restricting.
Sharks
With the
are weird.
Habs and the Leafs and shit, like they've had the same general idea for a jersey for 100 years.
well, the
They can't
Habs got
do
the
much.
powder blue though. Those are pretty wicked.
Yeah, which is based on the Expo jerseys.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
why
It's not
can't-
even their fucking team.
I understand, like, but the Leafs can do something. Like,
You know
do
what-
like a black.
You know what they
Yeah.
could do?
Do something.
did
You know,
great.
you know what they could do? I'm just gonna put it out there. If the Habs can do Expos, they can do Jays, but not just any Jays. The Team Canada red ones. And I know it would
Oh,
make some
yeah.
people sick to see a Leaf with
Yeah,
red.
people would hate that.
but-
I feel like
but-
that's never going to be.
but
rock
here's a question.
It's almost just like they're too scared to go against.
Here's the
blue
other
and white,
here's
right?
the other one too that I don't understand why they
the
didn't
gray
do.
and blue one, man. That was also weird.
I
like
liked
those.
it, but
Josh
it,
got one, and it looks a lot better
yeah,
in person.
like it's. I agree, it's not the best, but like I thought it was different. Right?
my
Oh, if you were getting a jersey, yes, I agree. I would buy it. I would buy that, and I'd probably buy that one too. But like, just with the, I don't know. They could have done something better.
If I had my
Yes,
time back, I
I
would have
agree.
got the Bieber one instead of the reverse retro.
I wanted
Yes.
the Bieber one. I looked for it. I was gonna get a Spezza one for Danica and one for me with Tavares in the sea. I
But
couldn't
see,
find it.
I can't justify. This is
They're
just
so
me.
expensive too. Man.
Yeah, and this is just me. But like, they only wore it for one game. Like when I get a jersey, I want to get that jersey.
Wasn't it only for one warm up? I don't even think
No, they wore it in the game.
Did they?
Yeah, they wore the like where you seen the Leafs logo.
yeah,
They
Obviously.
flipped it for the warm up.
yeah. The,
I think so,
warm up
yeah.
was the
Black one.
Bieber side. And
Oh,
then they
okay.
flipped it.
But like when I buy a jersey, this is just the collector in me. Like I want to buy that jersey to get it signed eventually. So like if I were to get that jersey signed and like say like
I think
like
you're-
Campbell
you're
never
not-
wore those arena ones.
He's not thinking wide enough.
What?
If you could get Justin fucking
Justin Bieber
Bieber to
signed.
sign one
That's
of those
different.
jerseys,
Okay, that's different.
I thought
would-
that's what he was saying. I was like, how are you gonna pull that?
yeah,
No,
like,
no. Sorry, that wasn't the way I was going. But like the arenas jerseys that they wore at the Heritage Classic last year, like Frameworth put a sale on for Campbell's jerseys. It was like $250 for a Son Campbell Arenas jersey, but it was because he was injured. He didn't even play in the game. He never wore the jersey. So I don't know. That's how I think of it.
That's fair, but like you're thinking of it from that perspective, and I get that. I'm more thinking of just from a commercial. What jersey would look cool when I go to the stadium?
Yes.
I think that jersey looks sick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
There's
do
different
have
ways to
one
look
more
at it.
one more Leafs hot take with the jersey thing. I thought about this too. If they're so afraid to go away from the blue and white, make a St. Pat's blue and white one with the St. Pat's logo, because they always go green when it's St.
The
Pat's.
Growlers
'cause
pretty
that's
much
what it
had that.
was.
You know the
Looks
old TML logo they had on like
Yeah,
their
I
old,
love
like-
that.
Yeah.
I think they should do one.
That reminds me of Darcy Tucker.
Yeah,
I think they
Yeah.
should do. If they
For
do
better
that, I
times.
want it on the.
Better
Or do like
teams.
a really old, like the old Leafs logo, like
that's
the
pretty much what they got there.
no.
Yeah, that's.
No, I mean like the old one, like the old, like back in the.
You're
fucking-
talking like Sundin days when it was
No, no,
literally
no.
the blandest.
No,
thing
you
in
mean
the
like
world.
50s and 60s.
I'm talking like 1930,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
when it was like all shitty looking, like
That's like one of their
not like
classic.
the dude. The fucking Leafs logo when Sundin was on the team was like the worst thing.
Worst.
ever.
Oh, it's
dude,
When it
terrible.
was
I could've
literally
done
just the
that.
straight edges.
Yeah,
could've fucking
that's
done
bad.
that.
Yeah, like that's awful.
I have since we're talking,
I was thinking they should do like some sort of turn on like the Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmore jerseys, like from the '80s, like with the white stripes.
I don't like
they've
those
kind of
either.
done that though. They've done
Did
a
they?
little. They've done a little rendition.
There's a
of
little
it.
bit of that in these ones, but it only
Yeah.
comes down to like the elbow.
Yeah.
I like it. I
I
think it
think
looks
it's
pretty
fine.
cool, but it's like you said, it's not going to make me go spend $300 to go get one.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Since we're
And that's coming from me.
since we're
Go ahead,
far
Alex.
in between into the Leafs talk, I do have one I wanted to say for the Leafs that I think would spark some debate before we get into our opinions on the season so far. Remember, one is erased from existence altogether. There is no guarantee anything happens, but
I already know what he's
I have one too.
Leafs
after-
loss in 2013, Cup Game 7 versus Boston, or the Leafs loss to the Habs during the Canadian bubble first round. Which one are you erasing?
You go first, Timmy.
Because the thing, but to give it, well, you
I
guys
got
think
an
I'm going to
opinion.
let it marinate. There's two trains of thought here. One could argue that if they don't lose to Boston in that comeback, the curse isn't real, they're fine, no mental bullshit. However, you could also argue that that year they probably may not have won the cup. However, with the Habs one, I think that you can argue that the curse isn't lifted. However, getting past the Habs and getting rid of the first round jitters, I think that team was better and has a better potential to win the Stanley Cup than the 2013 team.
Can I go first?
Yes, you go first. Timmy's
Okay.
thinking.
I was thinking what you were thinking with the Bruins, but I also was thinking Toronto was in the Canadian division there where they could have fucking walked to the final.
Mm-hmm.
The Habs walked to the final, and they were the 24th seed
Yep.
in that season. And I'm not saying that would have happened. I just said it would have been a way easier path, a way better team than what the 2013 team was. So I would pick that one.
I agree. I think I'm going with the Habs one because I think they make it to the finals.
The
No
only-
guarantee they win, but I think
I think they
make it to-
definitely they beat their curse in the first round, and I think they beat the Jets easily. And then Vegas versus them probably would be a toss up.
There's a thing that's holding me back. I don't think it's just not. It wouldn't sit well with me that the Leafs won the cup with no fans in the arena.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good. That's a
And
good
That's
opinion.
just it. Just doesn't sit well.
and
with
that
me.
whole season was just people debate on this all the time, obviously, but just the asterisks with the COVID, like, what was it, 58 games?
And can you exactly? And can you imagine if
That's
they
the
never
year?
blew that fucking game against Boston? No, like literally, none of this shit going on now would never.
But here's
it wouldn't
okay.
exist.
Ready for this?
I think it still would.
If
be
they
there.
don't blow that game versus Boston, Austin Matthews is not a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah, but, like, okay,
I'm just saying, I don't think it happens because if they don't blow that game, they probably
They're
get
all
farther. They get farther
I
in the
just-
playoffs. They go all in. We get a playoff ride
but then we might
Why
have a
couldn't
cup
you say
earlier.
fucking Montreal? Why couldn't you say Washington the year before or something or Columbus?
because
This is
that's
a
not the
harder
question. That's not the question.
No,
Dude, no,
Boston.
I think whenever you see the shit on, every April saying, like, is this the Leafs year? Is this the Leafs year? It goes back to that fucking celly that Bergeron has, and he's just skating up the fucking ice after they pot that goal. And
In overtime. Yeah.
that's they'll talk about the Habs and how they fucked off in that series and blah, blah, blah. But, like, that's the first one they start with because that started the rest of the curse.
I agree. I agree with that. I do think though, if we're calling a spade, I think that the curse was started with the Leafs loss to Boston. The worst loss is to the Habs.
Oh, for sure.
I
yes.
think the loss to the Habs is the worst choke job in Toronto sports
I don't
history.
know because they were up 4-1 and 10 minutes left in the third.
I don't care.
I think they
Because
scored
You got to win that.
You
Yeah.
got to win that. You got to win that.
home.
But
Were they home?
Hold
Oh,
on.
they were
Hold on.
away,
Wait, wait.
yeah.
Let me articulate this. Okay, yeah, you got to win that. You're up 4-1, but you're away against a team that just recently won the Stanley Cup. You were up in a
3-1.
series 3-1. So that's not only a score, that's games. You're up 3-1 against, like you just said, the 24th best team in the league. And you
yet-
can't finish that.
They still blow that 3-1 lead in this scenario. They still go to Game 7 if they beat the Habs in Game 7. That's your question, right?
My question is, no. You just erase it. Like one from existence. Didn't happen, so they just win.
Okay, so they're technically they're out 3-1. If you're
What?
raising that whole series from existence.
No. I'm
yeah, I
saying which
understand
one
what
would you...
Josh is saying that you still go to Game 7 against Montreal, but you win.
You've already embarrassed
Right,
yourself.
right. Yeah.
You've already blown the 3-1 lead.
I guess, sure, but I'm just saying they win. Like that
You
wasn't.
can't say you did this list not thinking that they were going to look into every nook and cranny.
No,
of this.
I'm fine with it. I'm saying when I first articulated the question, it was not a matter of how they won. It's just in my head they win because
just
it's an
would
erasure.
never-
It's an erasure. It never happens.
It
Erase
just would never sit well with me if the only cup, if I ever got them to see to win a cup, and it was in a 58 game season.
That would be
with
classic.
no
Leafs.
fans, where every other fucking person that I know could be like, yeah, well, they won in like a half short
bubble
season.
year,
Because
yeah.
Played only Canadian teams,
Yeah.
made it to the cup final, walked there, and then got lucky against Vegas.
I would have flown to Edmonton and broken into the building.
Every non-Leaf fan would have said that don't count.
Yeah, exactly.
And we probably would have said
Like
the Habs won.
for me, when people talk about the curse and all this bullshit, that, like Steven said, it goes right back to 2013 against Boston. I remember watching the game in my basement, and I was literally ready to rip my eyeballs out of my head.
Can we talk about how the Habs went to the Cup final and then immediately went to be the last worst team?
Well, it was a
next
joke.
season?
It made no sense.
2 years later,
They were
was
still
called Carey
like
Price.
they were the fucking worst team. Like you said, they were a bottom feeder team to begin with. They shouldn't have been there in the beginning.
There's no debate
In
that
the
was
beginning,
any Habs fan that says that they were like. I was talking to a Habs
blip.
fan. He was at work there the other day. We were at the telethon, and one of the guys I was working with was a Habs fan. And I could tell, I have a feeling, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I have a feeling he wasn't like a diehard one. Because we were just talking a little hockey, and he goes, yeah, but I just hate how the Habs literally made it to the Cup Finals, second best team, and then fell. I was like, you didn't watch, you don't know. I was like, I even said, I was like, well, I mean, they actually were the 24th best team, but
There's
they
two
made
types
it
of
in
Habs
a
fans.
technicality.
There's two types. There's the Habs fans that don't miss a game, and there's Habs fans that don't watch a game.
Yeah.
There's only two.
That's
There's
fair.
no in between.
That is so
like
true.
that.
There's Habs fans like Greggy, and then there's Habs fans.
Well, Dad
like,
misses a lot of games, but he keeps track. He knows.
yeah,
what's
well,
going
he
on.
knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But there's like Mark's brother-in-law, literally won't shut up talking about the Habs, but don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
Probably wouldn't be able to name half the roster.
Nothing more annoying than talking to a Habs fan that don't have a goddamn clue what's going on in the NHL. Don't know anything about the team. All he knows is that Carey Price was on the team and he was the best goalie in the league,
Yeah,
and that's all he knows.
This cold cauliflower guy's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, like
Really
it
like
drives
that.
me nuts.
Really like that fucking Slovakia guy.
It's like, yeah, like you don't have the right to talk shit because you don't know what's going on. That's like me saying that I'm a Dodger fan and they're fucking sick, and
Yeah.
like that's it.
That's
Carey
fair.
Price playing something good this year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like literally.
Meanwhile, he's
literally-
retired.
Yeah, like if you said to Buddy, he was like, "Oh, well, at least we still got Carey Price." That's what
Probably would have replied
yeah,
with that.
you know
no
what I mean?
doubt.
But it I think for me the answer is take away the loss of the Bruins.
Would you
Yeah.
guys like one more question, or do you want to dive
I want to
into
ask
some
you
Leafs?
guys one.
Sure.
This is more so for you, Hags, I guess.
Sure.
Although I think I know.
I may
know
have
what
it.
your
I may
answer's
have
gonna
it
be.
written down. I wrote down
I might not even
46.
ask this actually, and I know your answer.
What? Ask it.
Crosby or Gretzky?
Oh, Crosby
Ooh.
or Gretzky?
Yeah.
Because I had on my list Crosby versus Ovi.
No, that's easy for. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Anyways,
I'll do Crosby versus Gretzky first. If we're
Alright.
talking who's better all the time, it's Gretzky. Who do I love more? Crosby.
No, you had the vanish. You fucking
Vanish one. Oh, right. Shit.
Oh.
Okay.
You still got Mario.
Yeah,
No,
Mario's still
but
in the
hockey.
picture.
But look. I always talk about how Gretzky isn't the greatest of all time, and I will stand by that. But I will never discredit what he did for the game. Him going to LA is the reason
that's what
why
I
we
mean.
are where we are today. There's no doubt in my mind about that. If he doesn't go to LA and start partying with the boys and like make hockey a Americanized sport to a certain degree, it obviously is not talked about today. But when you ask Americans who name one hockey player, they all say Wayne Gretzky. Like he had an impact that will forever be the
Let's
reason.
go.
Get away.
Robertson, was it?
Yeah.
Yes, let's
Get
go.
away,
Scored
Robertson.
for his brother.
Yeah.
Like keep fast.
Mixed emotions.
He'll be fucking
it.
tomorrow. Or
Yeah,
whenever
100%.
They're
playing
fucking
Saturday.
happy, man. I want to see Geno Malgin in there anymore.
Okay, sorry, Hags.
Yeah, so it's a tough one. I think I'm gonna say
I think there's two schools of thoughts here.
the answer is the answer for me is my heart says Crosby because I grew up with him. I love him. Golden goal. He is the reason why I started watching hockey. I cheered for Pittsburgh for so many years because the Leafs sucked and there was no reason to watch them. And like I cheered for Pittsburgh, but I didn't really. I was cheering for Sidney Crosby. I got 2 jerseys upstairs. But the hockey historian and the mental, if he doesn't exist, what happens? There is no Sidney Crosby without Wayne Gretzky, in my opinion. Now, their only caveat to that, but the only caveat to that is you could argue since Sidney Crosby is Canadian and hockey's the only fucking sport we play here, whether Wayne Gretzky exists or not, he still may exist. But I don't think the league is what it is today, and I don't know if that would have an impact on who Sidney Crosby is as an athlete.
I agree with everything you're saying. I think I'm just too superficial in the fact that I can't see myself as a hockey fan without Crosby.
I'm the same way in a weird way. Like I love him so much.
And honestly,
he's so
it's the golden goal.
Yeah, you guys know I'm a huge Leafs fan, but I know Leafs and Penguins wouldn't happen in the final, but I would have a hard time cheering against Crosby for the cup.
Oh, I could cheer against him for the cup. Or I always said if the Leafs and Penguins played each other, I'd cheer for the Leafs.
Let me rewind back to when you and Josh were having drunk conversations at Henny Shed. Let me ask Steven, who's the better captain in their prime?
Oh,
I like
captain.
this one.
The better captain.
Crosby and Gretzky?
Sidney Crosby or Jonathan Toews?
I think I had this discussion with you guys at one point.
It's an easy answer, boys.
Me
it's
and
an
Hags
easy
are
answer.
on the polar opposite here. And Hags does not relent.
The better captain.
Better captain.
Now, skill set aside.
The guy who's called the kid or the guy who's called Captain Serious?
To me, okay, so I know who you want.
Yeah,
it's Captain Serious.
No, it's
Zach's
Sidney.
Me and Josh are pro Toews.
Okay, I'm saying Sidney Crosby as well.
Thank you.
Because he had the best mentor in the game going into the game. He had Mario Lemieux.
Mm-hmm.
He lived with Mario Lemieux, man. How can you not be one of the greatest captains ever when you are living with Mario Lemieux for 2 years?
Preach.
He is arguably the best player to ever play, and he's he fucking had cancer and came back and went and played in the NHL.
He's the best player of all
I
time.
don't
but
know
yeah.
what any of that has to do with being a captain.
He was given that mentorship in order to take the Penguins to where they are now.
This is all I'm
going to
say. This is all I'm going to say. Skill set aside, because he's played with the greatest players in the world, and he's played with some shitty ones. Let me. Skill set aside. He's played with the best players in the world, and he's also played with some shitty one. I've never heard about the Jonathan Toews effect. I've heard about the Crosby effect many times. Fucking Marchand doesn't play with Crosby anymore, but when he played with him once, was on one team with him, and look where he is now. Jonathan Toews didn't fucking do that.
Who had a letter in Vancouver?
Jonathan Toews. Yeah.
Vancouver 2010.
It sounds to me like you're just talking about how good Crosby is.
No, because Crosby
plays
no,
Alex Burrows.
What?
Was it Burrows too?
No, I mean the Olympics.
It's
Oh, they were in
upstairs.
Vancouver.
No,
Canucks.
sorry.
It was Crosby had the C, Taves had an A?
No, Crosby had an A. Niedermeyer was the C.
Oh, in the golden goal year, yes. It was
yeah.
Niedermeyer was the C. Crosby had an A, and I
And-
think it was either a Ginla or Chris
Taves was
Pronger.
on like a fucking is second year in the league at that point. It's not fair.
I mean, I don't disagree because that's a
Okay,
skill
what about
set
Sochi?
question. Sochi, Crosby's captain. Crosby's been the captain every year.
I got that.
But there was a serious
Yeah.
argument. About
Yes.
I got the Vancouver 2010.
But to
autograph
clarify
one.
my point to Zach, because he was like, it sounds like you're just talking about how good of a player Crosby is. That's not what happened. They played together for 1 year in the Olympics, and they never played with each other again until the next World Cup of
Who?
hockey. Marchand and Bergeron.
Oh.
When Crosby played with them, when he left that team and never played with Crosby, he stopped playing with Crosby. So it's not Crosby passing him the puck to make it better. He was 20 times the player he used to be. And that is not just because Team Canada
Shout
sucks.
out to the socks. Team Canada
sucks.
sucks.
They're comfy, man. The other one's just a black one.
But okay, sorry.
So, yeah, that's my point, is that has nothing to do with Crosby's skill. That has to do with his leadership and his ability to teach you and make you a better
Jonathan
player.
Toews is obviously it's such a toss-up. It's so hard to say who is the best captain between two of them.
Sidney
But
Crosby.
I do think it's Crosby, but I understand that.
Taves won cups in some pretty some pretty crazy situations.
They had the same team. Those
circumstances.
three cup winning teams were
And
basically the
Sidney-
same
Not
team.
exactly
I'd
what I'm
argue they
referring
had the
to.
greatest dynasty in
What are
the
you talking
past
about?
20 years.
Sidney Crosby won 3 cups as well, two back to back.
But he also had a 7-year gap in the middle.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and guess
That-
what?
that'd be
Fucking, I agree that they had a lot of cups in a row, but they also haven't won since then.
And there was Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's won more recently.
Yeah, in 2017. That's when like the Chicago Blackhawks started fucking dropping off too.
Oh, so what you're telling me is Jonathan Toews is such a good leader that he can only culminate a team to be good for a couple years, where Crosby can stay with the team, make a team.
half a decade.
okay. okay,
and the Pittsburgh and the
I have another argument.
Have a decade. That's 5 years. That's a couple years. Crosby was good. They made the Cup final. Then
What are we
lost
talking
it.
about when we talk about Tampa? They've only been good for like 5-6 years.
No, they've been
No.
good forever, dude.
No, they've been. No, we're talking about dynasties now. Tampa has only been a
Top of the
dynasty for a
league.
couple years. Yeah.
Okay,
like,
no, but
probably
like,
since I would argue they've been.
Teddy Purcell, when he was
2019.
playing with Tampa, they were sick then.
Yeah, it was what,
Yeah.
5-6 years ago.
No, it was like 12 years
10,
ago.
12.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
My point is, we're acting like the Crosby, like the Chicago dynasty means that Toews was a better leader. When, in my opinion, being able to bring your team back is way better, more of a leader than just being there consistently for a couple years. Because both of them had dynasties. That
Look at
Pittsburgh
what they
team. Look at this. Here's a better example. Pittsburgh Penguins have not missed the playoffs.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say.
Since after Crosby's rookie year, they haven't missed the playoffs since he's been on that team. 16 straight seasons. What kind of, you don't want to talk about a dynasty? What are we talking about here?
Yeah,
Sidney
but Detroit
Crosby.
made the playoffs for 25 fucking years, and the past like 10 of those they fucking, or no, like 5. Past 5, and they weren't even like seriously a contender. It's just they.
But they don't have a
scratched
good captain. They had Lidstrom for those however many
in. They had
years.
Lidstrom until they stopped making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but would Lidstrom be a better captain than Crosby? At that
Lidstrom
point?
was a damn good captain.
Eiserman was their captain.
For
At the
And-
first-
for the first part of that,
Yeah.
and then they went to. But like that Detroit is arguably the best.
That was such a good
Like
era, man.
that era of Detroit is the reason why they still have fans today. Like what are we
Dude, that
talking
game
about
seven,
here?
that game 7 when Pittsburgh won, like that game was so unreal.
Yeah, but if we're talking about making the playoffs as like an argument for a dynasty, like
Then the Leafs are a fucking dynasty.
exactly.
Like what are we talking about here?
What do you mean?
This Leafs
You're
team
just-
made the
you're
playoffs.
There's a
just
big
using-
difference between 6 seasons and 16, boys. Like what are we talking about
Pittsburgh
here?
gets in the playoffs.
His
He's bounced in the
whole
first
career.
round the past 5 years.
One,
I would argue
that's
that-
not true.
I would
But
argue that they only got bounced last year because Crosby
Was
got
injured.
injured.
Okay, injuries happen.
yeah, but no, I'm not
Not
saying.
another 3 years.
But I'm not saying the only reason I brought this up is because you said that the fact that Chicago had one of the best dynasties of all time over a 5-year period, 5 years,
Yeah.
is somehow better than a man winning the same amount of cups and never missing the playoffs in his career. Am I
We're
missing
talking about
something?
who's the better captain, not who's the better team.
But that's what he said. He said, I last time I checked, Jonathan Toews was the captain of one of the best dynasties. And what I'm saying
But
is,
that's
I would
true.
argue that the
Exactly.
Pittsburgh
But
and
Crosby
I-
was too.
But in my opinion, Crosby's dynasty is better.
I'd say they're equal. They both won 3 cups.
They both
Equal.
won 3 cups.
That's not the tone you were giving me a minute ago when you brought up
Cro-
this point.
you were talking about Crosby. He had a longer dynasty when like he had a
I
gap in
didn't-
the middle where he
I
fucking
did
didn't
not
do shit.
say. I did not bring up the dynasty. You did.
I don't even. I guess so. I don't even remember. To be
I don't
honest.
remember either.
You're confusing me now.
Point is, Crosby wins. And here's a fun one.
It's 2-2. It's a tie.
Yeah, no, we
I
need
do
to-
have
we
a
need to pull
question.
that to the fans.
Someone call Ryan Scaplin.
I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now.
No, don't call Scaplin.
Don't call
Why
Steve.
not?
No,
He
No,
could.
he's not
be
gonna
a
listen
tie-
to
he
this.
could be a tiebreaker.
He's not going to listen to
he
this.
doesn't even listen.
No, I'm going to call him on
Yeah.
the pod. Like,
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't support us.
that's
Remember?
fair. That is true. He doesn't support us at all.
Mike Clark?
Here, I have one more for
We're
you.
not calling anybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep this in house.
You said it.
Just go up and ask Greggy.
I do.
Greggy's gonna say Crosby. We're
Oh,
not asking
100%.
Greggy.
I do have a question for you though. Last one.
You have
Because
46 made.
I have so many made.
Wait, are Jason and Nick brothers?
Yes.
Yes.
Jason's older.
Oh,
Yeah.
cheers.
I do have a.
I hate that she's wearing a Dallas Stars hat and the fucking.
I'd
Leafs
rather
jersey.
see the half and half jersey.
It's her
honestly.
son.
I know. I hate it though.
I like how she's wearing the Leafs jersey, though.
I'd
go
rather.
neutral.
I'd rather have. Well, it's probably because it's in the Leafs building. She
All
probably
black.
flipped. Oh God,
Sorry,
damn it,
sorry.
Siri. Crosby's golden goal. Or,
Crosby's golden goal.
or Joe Carter's touch 'em all, Joe.
No,
Golden
fuck
goal.
that.
Golden goal.
I'm not talking about the event. I'm talking about like the call.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the call?
Yeah, like the goal, Crosby, the golden goal, or touch him off, Joe.
Probably Joe Carter.
Golden
I don't
goal
give a
for
fuck
me.
about baseball, so I'm gonna
No. But you're
abstain.
talking strictly commentary.
The commentary,
I'm gonna abstain
not
from this
not
one.
the play. Both plays
I would
still
say that
happen.
the bat flip was better than Joe Carter's.
Oh, well, Joe Carter's was for a World
I don't
Series.
even remember what they said in the bat flip, honestly.
Yeah, nothing.
I just
They're
remember seeing the bat. Like,
the
I don't remember
the
what
moment,
they said.
sure, but not the commentary. The commentary, Joe Buck's like, and Batista.
No, dude,
hit,
Buck
hit
didn't even
one."
call it. Buck didn't even call
He
it.
was just like,
He's like, and that's a fly ball to left. That
God,
Jose.
God, Buck.
Troy Tulowitzki's first home run. I'll never forget it.
Oh.
You're swinging a drive. Hand deep in left. Get up, Bob. Welcome to Toronto. Troy Tulowitzki.
Another when we're talking eras with sports, man, that Jays team was so good. David Price, Troy Tulowitzki, Edwin.
That wasn't a team.
If only they were properly
What?
It
managed.
wasn't a team.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It was just. It was
a bunch of individuals.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
yes,
a boys.
okay.
Just a boys' club going out to hit some home runs. That's all
But
that
just
was.
remember, at the time when all those big names came,
Oh, you're absolutely right.
yeah,
They should have won.
They should have won. That's why I'm saying it was a
Yeah.
bunch of individuals.
David
We
Price couldn't pitch in the playoffs though.
Yeah,
Or
but
postseason,
still,
whatever
that's
you wanna
one.
say.
Yeah,
one-
but you
one
still
man.
had they were fucking stacked. Besides that,
No, I know. I'm not saying they're not. They weren't. Sorry.
they had like
That's
oh,
a delayed game.
their team
What
was
a
their team was so
fucking
good.
stupid
But
penalty.
like,
It
how
was
many
very-
times do I remember since they traded for Ben Revere? Ben Revere would lead off, get on, like slap down third base line and get on first, and then you got from 2 to 6 is just fucking
Batters who can hit 'em
breaking
in.
their backs trying to hit a fucking home run.
Yeah.
Like bunt them over, then you got 2 more chances to hit them in. Simple. But like John Gibbons was, as much as I fucking love John Gibbons, guy couldn't manage goddamn baseball.
No, he wasn't. That was a boys' club. They were out there to hit home runs, and I respected to a certain point because they're all way better baseball players than me.
Oh,
No goal.
Call it off.
No goal.
Oh wow, no goal.
You pushed him in the net or something.
Last one, and then we're done. I actually mean it because I could do these for hours. But since we're still in the sports talk, I'll do one last sports one.
why do we have to stop?
Because we've been recording for like an hour and 15, and we're also watching the
Hour
Leafs
and
game.
6.
Oh, well, I'm down to keep
You're always
going.
overblowing this shit.
I'm also just thinking about not a lot of people want to listen for more than an hour.
Well, maybe
when you
you're
look
maybe
at
maybe that's the key to our success is 2-hour pods.
Mr. Beast
No,
and
it's-
every other
success is
podcast.
not 2 hour
Yeah. Last one. All Toronto sports teams were the ability to play any sport.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wait, what?
My questions, you erase one from existence. So you either erase all Toronto-based sports teams, so Jays, Raptors, Leafs,
Okay.
Toronto Argonauts.
or
Don't forget
Toronto,
them.
yeah, Argonauts and Toronto FC.
TFC,
Yeah,
Marlies.
yeah,
Fucking Toronto Rock.
yeah.
I watched the Toronto Rock game once actually.
You said it was sick, didn't you?
No.
Oh, I thought
It
you
was
said
sick for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was just
environment.
like, all right, I'm sick of this now.
Okay, and your other one?
Or the ability for you personally to play any sport in real life.
What do you mean? I can play sports.
Yeah, so you can't.
I'm not
anymore.
good at them.
So you can't ever again. No, it's not. You never can do it. So you've never played hockey in your life. You can't.
So
play
am I
golf,
just
you
like
can't-
severely average and like I try, but
No,
I just
you
No, no,
fucking
no,
can't.
no.
suck,
Like
or-
you
just
cannot. You can't touch. If you lace on skates and touch ice, you explode. Like you'll never. Like it's not a. And it's not an
Pickleball racket?
Yeah,
You're
like it's not an
6 feet
ability.
under.
It's not an ability question. It's a any sport. Anything that is classified as a sport, you can't touch.
I'd just cheer for another fucking team then.
Yeah, I would have to
Yeah,
say I want
feel
to
like
keep.
you'd have to. I feel like you'd have to make that even bigger and say like literally take away all professional sports.
You know what pisses me off? My pop used to be a Detroit Red Wings fan. And he gave it up back in the fucking 70s or 80s when my dad was born. Started watching the Leafs. Imagine how much
What?
nicer my life would be if I was a fucking Red Wings fan.
I mean, your kid years was
Yeah,
been
to be
great.
fair, you like when you grew up, when you would have been like 5 years old when they were good.
I would have been fucking 14 when
Yeah,
they won the
no,
cup.
you
Oh,
would've
right,
been like-
yeah, when they had
That would have been
Datsuns
like when you
Zetterberg
wanted to
and
play in
Vaz.
the NHL.
I literally would have watched all of my youth of them being fucking
Josh-
successful.
But
Yeah.
Josh, that's
Now
not
they're
the
sick
point.
again.
That's not the point.
Okay, let's.
Dude, no, I think they're sick. I
Let's
think
calm down with
I-
the sick.
No,
Josh,
Detroit and Ottawa are
we
both sick
bleed
teams,
blue,
and
brother.
Philly.
We bleed blue. Come on.
I'm just saying, like,
Philly's on a heater with Torts.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They are. Dude, they are. They're going to playoffs.
I know they're like 3-0, I think.
Where'd that come from?
Dude, I was wondering what that was. I looked over earlier. No, Philly's making the playoffs. They're probably going to make the second round.
No,
Yes, they are.
no, they're not.
I'll put $20 on it.
All right, deal.
All right.
That Phillies make it to the second round?
Playoffs.
Playoffs. I'll do playoffs.
All right.
Deal.
Okay. Let's go.
Philly making
It's on video.
playoffs in the East,
They're making the playoffs.
in the Metro.
Yep.
So who's coming out of it?
Isn't that like fucking New York and
It's
New York,
New York
Washington,
Rangers,
Pittsburgh.
Washington, Pittsburgh,
Washington's
Islanders.
out.
Islanders.
Islanders out.
Devils, I would argue, are better.
Devils probably. No, I'm just kidding.
So like,
you
They're
may
the
as well
worst team
just
in the
send Josh
Metro.
money
no,
now.
no, I'm telling you, Philly's going to playoffs.
what?
Columbus.
Carter,
Torts got
Torts
Johnny
is recreating
Gaudreau.
the Broad Street
Yeah.
Bullies, eh?
Carter Hart's gonna have a sick year.
oh, we gotta
all right,
calm
all right.
down.
We'll look back at this in April.
We will.
I mean, if they make the playoffs, that's $20 well spent, in my opinion.
Ben
Fair
Piercy
enough.
still owes us all supper.
Yeah. Shout out to that guy.
We made a bet like 2 years ago that he bet that what was it?
the Wizards.
The
were
Wizards were
going to
make the playoffs, and they finished like 14th in the conference.
Is that when they had Russ?
Okay, I hope that doesn't happen to
What?
us.
Is that when they had Russ?
Yeah.
No, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was
No,
like
it was.
when the
No,
Russ
I
trade
don't
happened.
think it was when. No, because he hates Russ. It wasn't that. It was when.
It was when John Wall was supposed to come
yeah,
back,
it was
and it
when
was him
John
and
Wall was
Bradley Wheel.
supposedly back, and then they had Beal, and they just drafted
Where's
Hachimura.
John Wall? Is he still-
Clippers.
Clippers, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who cares?
right.
Yeah, honestly, who cares? Because the guy's gonna tear his ACL in like 2 weeks anyway.
Hags, yeah, I would 100% keep my ability to play sports.
Are they still reviewing this? They've been
Yeah,
reviewing this
it's
for like 10
sad,
minutes.
man. Like the situation room got to figure it out. I
But
don't
dude,
know.
that Colin Riley the other day. You
It-
think that was a hand pass?
No, from if we're saying was it the rules of the game? 100%. They followed it correctly. It's the right call. Is it a stupid rule?
Oh.
I think it's a stupid rule.
What was
Ball's
it? Goal?
coming
Oh,
They called it no goal on the
drum
ice.
roll, please.
I don't know what that means.
That's goal interference. It's no goal.
It's a good goal.
Wow.
It's a good goal.
Wow,
I mean,
so
yeah,
they are
that
saying.
was-
Oh, so they're saying the defenseman pushed him in, is what they were saying.
No, I think
Marner
Marner
was there.
I think Marner did.
Oh, well,
It was a weak
Marner.
no goal.
that's fair. I'm fine with that. Is what it
Keith's
is.
about to blow up.
Keith walked
is
back his
actually
comeback.
so angry these last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I would
he
be too.
walked back his comments though. So
You got to watch all these games.
yeah, that's sad.
He's paid-
I have one question for you guys.
Yeah.
And me and Hags and Greggy got into a heated fucking debate about this.
Yeah,
on the way
sure.
to Terranova.
Which one was it? Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, it was a
it
good
was
time.
wicked.
Good
That's
time.
sick.
So nice.
Hey, Terranova in the fall is. We should plan like next year, plan a little guys trip, or like even with the women go up there for like
Well, we were gonna do
late
it this
September.
year.
Late September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Plan in advance. For my birthday, we'll do it next year.
so anyway, what I was saying
Shout out
My
what
birthday's
was
coming up.
the debate that we had was with regards to the Leafs and everybody kind of being sick of them getting eliminated in the first round. Me and Greggy were saying that they like if this keeps up with these like terrible starts and all this kind of shit. We
Riley.
were saying that they need to change something. Like somebody has to move. But Hags's argument was saying like, who are you going to trade and who are you going to get, and how are they going to get better? So Hags was saying that by them,
That wasn't exactly
you
the
were
argument.
saying. Well, you were saying like they've been eliminated in the first round, but they've been playing like Tampa and like these crazy teams in the first round, which is
Columbus
like all you
and
can do. Well, besides Montreal.
Yes.
But like
Oh.
he was saying that like it's kind of all you can do, like you know.
No, what?
But
I don't.
what I was trying to say is like, if all this shit keeps up, where like literally you don't know what team you're getting on a nightly basis with this team.
Yeah.
I was saying that if this keeps up, like they have to trade somebody
that-
this season.
so
and send
respectfully-
a fucking message because these players
Respectfully?
are convinced that they are completely safe and that they will never get traded.
That was not the argument whatsoever. Zach is confusing himself with a conversation we had in the group chat that Mike and all the boys were talking about. The argument we had with Dad was about Kyle Dubas. And Kyle Dubas' contract was up, and we were saying that if they don't win this year, should they move on from Kyle Dubas?
Well,
and
this
I
is
was a
last
Kyle
year, isn't it?
and I was a Kyle Dubas
Yeah.
supporter, saying that I'd give him to the end of Matthews' contract, and then at that point, then you can switch directions. And
Okay,
you
well-
guys were saying that if it doesn't work out, you should make change. Fire the GM, got to do something. And my point was that if we are measuring success as a team, that in my opinion, Kyle Dubas has been successful and this team has been successful because they've set points records,
My boys
they've
have
done
some.
everything they can do. They've fallen short a couple times, but I said, a couple times, yes, a couple.
6 times.
5 times. Okay, but
5 times.
you could argue
5
is it
times.
5 or 6.
Matthews was drafted in 2016. It's now 2022.
Yeah.
Matthews our top 2 player in the league.
Yes.
Never made it past first round.
MVP.
Okay, but
MVP of the league.
but that
60 goal scorer.
is successful. Again, like we're not. I think the standard. You can. My other point was that I said you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Like you can't say one argument and not use it for the other. So my point was there was a lot of people saying that the Oilers had a massively successful season because they made it to the conference final and lost to Colorado. And I said I completely disagree with that because the Oilers beat a injured half shit LA team and then fucking walked over a Calgary team that I thought was, well, I shouldn't say walked over. It was a good series, but Calgary and them, in my opinion, were a tier under. All those teams are a tier under the top teams in the league.
For sure, Calgary finished with more points.
Yes,
Calgary
they
was a
did, but
good
they were
team.
fake. In my opinion, they were fake the whole time. You could smell it. I could smell it.
It's a
Johnny
top
Goodrow,
best
Matthew
line in
Tkachuk.
hockey.
No, I never once
No,
said they were
that's
the best line in
bullshit.
hockey. They were playing against the Pacific. Again, this is what I'm talking
So
about.
was Edmonton.
No, that is Edmonton.
Yeah, and Calgary.
Yeah.
They're the same division.
Yeah.
Okay, who?
So what I'm saying is like this is my point. This is you are the
This is
exact,
getting away from what I'm
you
trying
are
to
the
fucking talk about
exact-
here.
but
and
you
now
are
Has
the
gonna
ex-
finish this and he's end the pod on me.
No.
yeah.
This is exactly the point I was fucking making, and you're literally feeding it to me. That is not a straight up comparison. They are playing different conferences, so saying that they were just as good of a team.
conferences.
It's the truth, you fucker. It's the truth. How good do you think the Leafs would have been, and how far would they have made it if you swapped them and instead of playing the hell of an Eastern Conference that they have and some of the best, if not the best teams in the world, versus they get to face Anaheim, fucking LA, Vancouver on a rotation?
They'd probably be worse because they can't play
Dude,
anybody
exactly.
that sucks.
They play. If they're playing Arizona, that's an automatic loss. If
That's
they play against
Arizona.
Buffalo, it's an automatic loss.
Ottawa.
The worst thing.
Ottawa.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
Guys, I don't know if you realize this, but that's our heads. That's not real.
No, it is.
Arizona's kind of real because of the 2000, like,
Yes.
but that's
Did you
more
guys hear that stat?
Yes, but it's
Yeah.
they have Arizona's.
Arizona hasn't lost a game in Toronto in 20 years.
They've gotten at
In
least a
regulation.
point. Yeah.
Arizona, who hasn't
Yeah.
been good in 20 years.
So
Shane Doan
again,
days.
that's called a
They've never been good.
guys. I hate to break it to you, but in my opinion, that's called a coincidence because just off simple math, if they only beat good teams, they wouldn't have set the record for most points in a fucking season in 100-year franchise history last year. They beat all the teams. Now, we can have the conversation of do they beat the good teams when it matters. That's fair. But if
Yeah,
we're
that's fair.
saying that we're about to say that they wouldn't have mopped the fucking floor with the Pacific Division and probably won the President's Trophy, you didn't watch hockey last year. And that's my point, is that we can't compare, say, a team like Edmonton versus a team like Toronto when at no point did they face the same competition.
The division
That's like
shit's
saying-
overblown because you play teams in your division 3 times, you play teams in your conference 2 times, you play teams in another conference 2 or 1. It's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, but it is a big of a difference when you look at how many the number of teams in each one. So if I'm playing every team in my division, what you said 3 times?
Three times the division, 2 times your conference.
Yeah, but then I'm playing every other team on the other conference once
Or twice.
or twice. Yeah, so that's still just off simple math. I'm playing the other teams more.
You're playing 8 more games against teams in your conference.
Anyway, this wasn't what I was asking.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This has
But
nothing
it,
to do with what I was
but it
asking.
does because my overall point is like that was the argument was I was saying I'd give Kyle Dubas one more year and live out the contract and see what he can do because I don't think this team has been unsuccessful.
Well, here's my caveat. Why do you keep Dubas if he's so stubborn to the point where he's not willing to make any changes.
He has made.
Dubas-
He's made so many changes.
Dubas jumped
you
in-
can change out the spokes. Eventually, you got to change the fucking rim.
So you're just on. So you're just. So what you're getting at is you're just on the the fancy mantra 4 games into the season that's been storming over Twitter
It's the
and in our
last
group
7
chats.
years, Matt.
No, it's not.
Every year, it's the same shit.
Okay.
How many times can they get eliminated in the first round before you eventually think, well, maybe they should probably trade one of the players that are making $10 million?
Okay.
Dubas-
so
Dubas
well,
fucking-
Tubas is an unbelievable
okay, so
GM,
like, oh,
and he's
wow.
done a great job of figuring out how to manage his team under a flat cap. I totally give that to you. Nobody could do a better job than that. But Carl Dubas can only do so much. I'm not talking about Dubas. I'm talking about the fucking team that's
No,
out on the ice.
I don't disagree, but because you're right. I remember when Tampa kept losing in the first round, they traded Steven Stamkos because him, Kucherov, and Hedman were their core and probably one of the best cores in the league. Right, that's how they made it to 3 fucking cup finals. No,
even
you
have
don't
Stamkos.
trade your fucking 3 best players.
Who's the 3 best players?
I didn't say to trade
Who-
3 of them. I said to trade 1.
Who's the 3
They're
best players?
lucky to have them. Like that's my point. Is
Who's
like,
the best 3 players on the Leafs?
ooh, that is a good argument. I mean,
Because
We're not talking about that.
No, I'm saying I bet you I'd be able to justify one of them being traded for to relieve cap space for not that much.
to relieve cap space.
They have 4 players
yeah.
making extreme money. 4.
I wouldn't trade Nylander. I think his contract's a good deal.
Absolutely,
His
I agree.
contract's one of the best in the league.
Tavares and Marner, I would.
Okay,
I would trade one of them.
Okay, but so again, number one.
How many times? I'm just like the thing that's just driving me nuts. And up till now, I've been totally fine. I've been on Hags' wagon. Who cares? Who cares? They're just gonna get to the playoffs. It doesn't matter. They're gonna be a 100-point team. It doesn't matter. When you get to the playoffs, we'll just hope for the best. But my patience is just gone. What's the sense of watching the regular season when they're just gonna fucking
completely
lose in the first
agree.
round again?
Yeah, I'm so
But they might not. Like, what are we talking
But I've
about?
been saying that
No,
for the
they
past
will.
7 years,
If nothing
and it's
changes,
been
they
the
will
same
lose.
every fucking year. Same team every time. Start of the season, you lose to a shitty fucking.
so
they lose to Ottawa. They lose to Montreal.
They didn't-
And I got to listen to the same fucking bullshit that John Tavares spews out after every fucking game, and Mitch Marner says the same bullshit every fucking game, and they always ask him the same questions. What happened? Oh no!
But that's
it's,
just hockey. Well, and that's
no,
hockey
just
interviews.
just
You ask
go
any
next
fucking
game.
hockey
We know
player,
how
it's the
to
same
succeed.
shit.
We know how-
I
what
understand,
takes to
but
have
like
success.
it's just at a certain point, it doesn't matter because they just know that they're not going to get traded. So why would they care?
Because number one, when we say why would they care, to me, my opinion, that's just blasphemous. They don't get to be the players they are and do the things they do in this world. They are one of.
But at some point, there needs to be some sort of message sent
I
and say,
disagree.
hey, we cannot tolerate this anymore.
But there's no-
Or there needs to be something from the front office that say, there needs to be a major shift.
So
not
what
like
does
change
that
time and out for
shift-
bunting.
But what does that shift? This is where I fundamentally disagree with that logic. At what point does that shift? Okay, this fundamental shift. Number one, what is it? Who are you trading these players for? Because the value
Jesus
in return
Christ.
you're going to
Oh my
get is
God.
not going to make the team better. We keep talking about magic cap
I don't
space
think
and
that.
all this shit. Okay, who are you
I
going to
don't-
sign? Who are you trading
I
for?
literally trade Marner for Patrick Kane, and there's no way that Chicago wouldn't do that tomorrow morning.
Oh, dude.
I think
100%.
that is one of the worst trades in Leafs history. If that
Why?
happens.
What?
Because Marner's better than Patrick Kane right now. Right now, Mitch Marner is a better player
How much
than
does Patrick Kane make? 8, 9?
10.
10. It's literally
He's
a
on the
half
last
a
year
mil.
of his deal.
Half a
Last
mil.
year of his deal, you try it out for 1 year. If nothing happens, you're relieved 10 mil cap space.
And then who do you
Nylander-
sign? Who do you sign then?
Anybody.
You can make a deeper team.
Can you? Because I don't think you can. Like I don't
Dude,
think the
the Leafs' fourth line.
what the Leafs fourth line? No fucking team has a good fourth line. What are we
Okay.
talking about
Okay.
here? So where do you spend? My point again is like where do you?
Fight, I think.
What just happened?
It's a fight going.
Matthews just got leveled and
It's not really a fight. It's kind of like
It's like a fucking
it's kind of like two girls
cats fucking trying to
yeah.
pie each other.
Oh,
Like, I just don't think they got enough grit, man. I just, like...
Well, they added grit. So what? Last year they had Wayne Simmons, Kyle Clifford, and like they've done it all. Like
Yeah,
this
and
is
they
what-
stuck out in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, Kyle Clifford gets suspended first game. And Wayne Simmons doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's sticking out. Like, what are we talking about here?
I just think like I'm not a fucking. There's a reason why I'm not an NHL GM.
I think the argument here is if you don't have $40 million worth of your cap and 4 players, you could probably make a better, deeper team.
No team has ever won the Stanley Cup with a player making over $10 million.
That's insane. What a stat
Not
that is.
one.
Oh, I wonder why.
And we have 4.
That's one.
No, we
that
have
is
3.
that is
Three.
a
Yeah,
fallacy. What you're saying right there. That makes no sense.
Why?
Because the cap
It's
was
true.
smaller. No players were paid over $10 million.
How long has John Tavares been making $10 million?
11 million.
11 million.
5 years.
How long?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So in the past 5 years,
McDavid's been making that much longer than that.
yeah.
Same
but
And
all the teams
in the
that-
past 5 years,
and
not
all the
one
teams
team has
and
made.
all the teams that have signed those have won most of their stars, if not all their stars, aside from Tampa because they don't have to pay taxes and they get the miracle work. Didn't sign any new future superstars. Not a single one of them. What you need to look at is what percentage of the cap was their salary. How much of the cap was Sidney Crosby's salary when they won in 2017? I bet you, I don't know the number, I probably should look it up. I bet you it's a hell of a lot closer than you think to what Austin Matthews and the Boss were making. It is an incomparable number. You're comparing apples to oranges. You can't say that, a team hasn't won the cup with a player making over $10 million, when for the majority of fucking hockey history, no one was making over $10 million.
well, actually, to narrow that stat down more, the year that Montreal bet Toronto, Carey Price was the first person to advance past the first round, making $10 million or more.
Yes. And that is a stat I completely understand. Also, again, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but that stat
Riley sucks.
that
Morgan Riley
stat-
is ass.
that stat gets erased if there's no COVID and a flat cap, but that's besides the point.
Yes, like that's totally fair. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm just so fed up, and I'm just so tired.
I am too, man.
And
I
it's
just
just
don't.
like-
I
it's
just don't
just
think making a
so-
trade for the
this-
sake of a trade is gonna make this team
like,
better.
I don't think like I understand what you're saying, but it's just like at a certain point, it's just like something's got to give somewhere. Like,
But I think what's gonna give is they're just gonna win. I honestly believe that, and I understand the frustration, and I can see why you don't believe that. But to me, that's what's gonna happen.
Can we try Sandin quarterbacking this top power
I
play?
would love it.
Josh has been saying that.
I
Holy
love it.
fuck! Like
Two
Riley
years
has
now.
not done one correct thing on the
You
ice.
can't get a shot in it.
Riley hasn't
I've
done
been saying it for
anything
years.
all year, man. He's been one of their worst defensemen, in my opinion.
I don't know about that.
John
Goes-
Tavares-
goes
John-
back to what
all
Zack's
their
saying
defensemen
here.
is
John
fucking
Tavares has
terrible.
been the best player for
They
the
got
Leafs this season.
theoretically
Yes, I
5
agree.
of their best players on this power play. They're hot for a bit, they're cold for a bit, and the playoffs they disappear, and then
If Riley keeps playing,
Happens
like
every
he-
year.
That's also just not true. In the playoffs, they don't disappear.
they do.
How many points? Go Google how many points Austin Matthews had last year.
No, in the power play, Alex. I'm talking about the power play. Their power play has not shown up the past 5 series.
But to be fair, before last year, Matthews and Marner did not do shit in playoffs other than last year.
I mean,
Like Marner had more delay of game penalties than he did goals in playoffs.
I think their argument
That's
is
fair.
they have a team that's built on 2 top-heavy lines, and every playoffs it seems that one line's not going, one line is.
Exactly.
And you can't win like that when you don't have the depth to make up for it.
that's a fair criticism, and I don't like. I'm not. I don't think I'm as far away from you guys as my argument and my heatedness would concern.
They
I
built
just-
this team with the mindset that the cap was going up $5 million every year, and it just never happened. And that's outside of, like, Dubas couldn't have predicted that, but he never adjusted.
Dubas shot
either.
himself in the foot at the very beginning of his GM career with the Leafs when he said, "We can and we will, son."
Well, at that point, he would have.
He did.
Like,
Right?
he did.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
then
know,
that
that's
sent
what
the
I'm
message.
saying.
That sent the message to Nylander that no matter what I ask for, you're going to give it to me
Yes,
because you made a
exactly.
promise.
Yes.
Marner. Marner was the worst.
Marner's the worst one. If we're gonna be arguing
Yes, but-
contract,
Oh, yeah,
Marner's the worst.
no, for
Nylander
sure.
didn't set no precedent. Nylander was worth that fucking dollar value since day one. And any fucking asshole that says otherwise is just being a stubborn
but
old
that's-
fucking man.
I understand that it's worth it, but what I'm saying to you is that it sent the message that if I don't play long enough, he's going to give me the money that I want.
Yeah.
Nylander wanted that money, and he got it. No matter what the dollar figure was, what he asked for, he got.
Yes.
Same thing with Marner,
Yes.
and Matthews is an outlier because he deserves more than what he makes anyway.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that
Yes.
Nylander held out, and his agent told him, "You hold out. He's going to give you the money that you want.
Till the
I guarantee it."
Till the last hour that he could.
Yes.
Like, that was fucked.
So what that meant was that now Marner was like, okay, well, now I'm fucking cashing in, and I can just wait and wait and wait, and Dubas is going to give me money. And because they held out so long for Nylander, they were
They did not wanna
criticized
do
so
it for
heavily
Marner.
that they couldn't wait for Marner,
Yeah.
and they had to give him the money.
And Marner was saying, okay, well, if Willie got this, then I'm putting up
I'll
almost
get
double the
double.
points. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but that's where I think Dubas shot himself in the foot. I think he's a great GM, but I think that if he
Like nobody
dealt
could
with that a
nobody could
different
do a
way.
better job with the team than what he's done. I honestly believe that. With regards to the way the team is constructed and the way that he's found like Bunting and all these other guys that just
Kev.
come out of the woodwork.
I saw a thing being like, it was someone chirping Dubas being like, look at all the fucking draft picks he's traded and what is still on the
Yeah,
team
but that's
for
not
it.
the point.
And I was like, oh, or maybe we could just look at who he had to get rid of and why he had to trade those
Yeah,
draft
like
picks.
he had to get
The fact
rid of
that Nikita
Kessel. He
Zai-
got
the
rid of
fact that-
Kessel's
The
contract.
fact that Nikita
Zaitsev.
Zaitsev was signed fucking 2 days in by Lou Lamoriello. Like,
Yeah.
They trade a lot of those picks for players who played multiple seasons on this team. Like, it's
Yeah.
not
Giordano.
that too. I agree.
Like they, like,
No,
pissed
but
him
my
away.
point is that I disagreed with Buddy Chirpin. I was like, that's fine. This is a win now team, not a fucking win in 10 years.
Exactly. Like when you're trying to win now, that's just the way it works. You trade your draft picks so you don't have to dip into your current roster. That's just the way it is. So like anybody argue
look
about
at
that,
look at
they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's
look
just
at Florida
like,
last year. Florida traded away all those picks and they got like a handful of games out of Claude Giroux
Yeah.
Which is
and
so
Ben
bad.
Sherratt, was it?
Tough.
yeah, Ben Sherratt, yeah. Just like I don't know, just the way I don't
neither
know.
on the team.
Like
Yeah.
I've been so optimistic the last like forever
I think
when everybody's been so negative, and it's just like now I'm just like
I'm past
I'm
that
just
stage as
rubbed
well.
I'm just rubbed away to the core, man.
I get that, and I sympathize. My overall just opinion is that at the end of the day, there's only one team that wins the Stanley Cup. Of the past 5, we keep talking about these 5 years.
Yeah, but there's how many teams?
3
make it-
teams have won it.
There's 8 teams that make it past the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but that to me is, again, so what are we measuring success? That's my point, is that we can't
Yeah, but
use
you
one
can't-
argument for one and then one other for another. Are we saying that the job of a successful team is to get past the first round, or are we saying the job is to win the Stanley Cup?
I think it's a success. It's a success
When the
for-
Leafs goal is, I'm sorry, Steven.
No,
when
go
the,
ahead.
when the Leafs goal is to win the Stanley Cup, and you don't make, say you look at it in 5 different stages. You get a good position in the regular season, which they did. They did what they could. Well, I mean, Tampa's stacked too, so that's all you can do. Then you have to make it. You had to win 4 7-game series, right, to win the cup, and they never done any of that.
Yes.
So I would consider that a huge failure.
Yes, I don't consider it a success, but my point is I don't consider anyone that didn't win the cup a success.
But like that's different though, because like I mean like yes, people have like lofty goals, like say like Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh's goal, like yes, like if you ask Crosby his goals and say yeah, we're gonna win, like trying to win the cup. But like realistically, they probably want to make it to the second or third round, and that'd be considered a good season.
If you are in any team that is a viable cup contender, so let's name the top 5 teams. in the league.
Colorado, Tampa, Toronto, last season with Florida.
I'm gonna say Calgary's up there this year.
Calgary, I would argue, is better.
Yeah, so
I
not
really don't
Florida
like
now.
Gaudreau
So
and Tkachuk.
Colorado, Tampa, Toronto. Who else? Calgary.
And like
There's
Edmonton.
a cycle.
Edmonton.
Yeah, there's a cycle. I would put an East team in before again.
Say Rangers.
Yeah, like
Rangers.
Rangers over
Rangers
Edmonton.
over.
Yeah,
Edmonton.
so that's 6. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any of those 6 teams, if they don't win the cup, that's considered a failure.
Yes.
But if you make it to the cup final, at least you can say we almost fucking did.
Yes.
I would also
but
argue
here's,
the Penguins
but see,
with that.
Right there. That's what I'm
But
looking
when you
at.
get kicked out
When
in the
you
first
said-
round,
but
when-
that's not a fair comparison, because what you said is we almost did it. Well, what the Leafs did was they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, which is what it should have been, and lost to the team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't consider that a caveat, but what I'm saying is if your response to making the Cup Finals is, oh, well, we almost did it, then in my opinion, the Leafs get to say that too. Because who they lost to and who you play matters. This is not
Well, then they should have bet Montreal.
that I agree with. I think I said it
They
earlier.
should have bet Columbus.
Don't disagree with that.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying. Yes, they played the tip top of competition in the first round. That's
Yes.
fair. But at the end of the day,
You got to
just-
win.
You
At
got
the end
you
of
got
the
to
day,
shut
you
up and
have to
win.
And
Yeah.
that's why my opinion is that none of those teams, besides Colorado last year, was a successful team.
Ooh.
Oh, that sucks.
What happened?
Giordano's
out.
got rammed into pushed into the boards.
That's
like he
a
hit his head.
suspension.
Well, yeah, like yes, I hear what you're saying, Hags, and that's
I
the
think Zack said
caveat.
it best. It's at the end of the Washington series, the first time they're like, "All right, we made the playoffs. The goal next year is to make it past the first round."
Yes.
Then same thing happened against the Bruins. All right, the goal is to get past the first round. Same thing happened again the third time, and then
Yes.
the goal shifted to winning the cup when they got Tavares, but they still never got it past the first round.
That's a bad hit.
So I think
The way like Steve Dangle sums it up good is that before they had Tavares, they were like the young kids, and you gave them time, and you had hope. Then when they got Tavares, the hope shifted to expectations, and now the expectations are running out. Like
Because Tavares wasn't there for Washington, was he?
no,
No.
he
got
signed the
next-
season that off season, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
2018.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a great series against Washington. Went 7 games. You pull in a veteran player who has put up. I guess he put up 100 points at that point in his career.
Well, he wasn't a veteran then; he was a superstar.
Well, no, but you signed him a long-term deal that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But again, people are criticizing the Tavares deal. The Tavares deal
that's
was
free
made-
agency. It's totally different.
One, it's
totally
free
different.
agency. Two, it was made with. Again, I can't stress this enough, and I know you guys agree with me here, but I just think it needs to be reiterated. That Tavares deal was signed
Penalty, let's go.
with the idea that the cap was going to increase and he would be good for the first half of it. No one's expecting 35-year-old John Tavares to be worth fucking $10 million. That's not why that contract was signed. That contract was signed with the idea that once we sign everyone else, we can and we will, we would still have $4 or $5 million.
But Dubas
to
didn't make the
sign-
signing though.
No, Lou did, but what
Yeah,
I'm saying
okay.
is like the continuation of it,
He was
because like
signed Tavares.
No, he didn't.
he did.
Dubas signed Tavares.
He did.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Lou went to the Islanders and tried to keep him. Didn't do it. That was Dubas' first offseason.
I'm not. I don't know now. I'm remembering both, so I'm gonna stay out of it. That's a Google.
Dubas got hired on as GM, and then he went, and his first thing he did was sign Tavares.
Which is pretty elite. Either way, let's go with the words it is. My point still stands. So to say that this team needs to make a big splash because their ideas and the way things were projected, let's play devil's advocate for 1 second to all of us. It doesn't really have to do with anything, but it's an overall arcing point.
Yeah, you're right.
The Leafs
Sorry.
keep everyone, and the cap goes up, and all of a sudden their team gets deeper.
Okay, but so does
I
every
think
other
the
team.
criticism here is he didn't adjust his strategy when the cap didn't start going up. He's had like three off seasons to do it.
But how do you?
You trade one of the big four.
Okay,
And one of the big four you trade, you do not get appropriate value back. I stand by that, and I will stand by that.
I think he's
till
at
end
the
of time.
point that you got to do something anyways, even if he doesn't get.
But honestly, probably 3 years ago, you might have got more value than what you would get now.
I disagree.
who's scoring in overtime?
I don't think there's any value you get that equates to one of those players.
Columbus-
Nylander's one of the best value contracts. Mitch Marner is a top 5 right wing in the game. You can say he's not, but he fucking is. Anyone that does projections for Team Canada, all that shit, has him up there. Like, he is an elite player. If he was not playing for Toronto and playing somewhere else, we'd be saying, holy fuck, look at this guy. And then Austin Matthews is the second best player, third best player in the world.
What gets forgotten is Columbus offer sheet in Marner,
Yes,
and
that too.
he didn't sign it. So they were willing to give up 4 firsts for him.
Yeah. That just feeds into my point that he's
I
an
think that's
unreal
what
player.
Zack was saying. They traded him 3 years ago before he
When you
signed.
had all this potential, now everybody knows what he is. He's a player that ultimately gets a lot of assists. He's not an elite goal scorer, and he flames out in the playoffs.
Who's scoring in overtime?
But back then,
Robertson.
what Josh to my
Which
point,
one?
what Josh said is back then the Columbus was willing to give up a ton of picks for him to have that potential of what he would become. Now everybody knows what he is, and you probably won't get that now. Not a chance.
I think he probably has a no movement clause now.
Oh, they all kick in now, yeah.
So
I'm saying Riley
Can't move
scores
him
in
if you want.
overtime because I bagged on him.
Yeah, Riley's contract is looking. If we want to talk about contracts that aren't looking the best, is Riley's.
Well, I was
going
gonna
to
say that, but someone cut me off.
It's probably
No,
me.
It wasn't you. I think it was Zags.
It's first.
Riley's contract probably looks the worst on the Leafs right now.
I wouldn't say that.
Dude, he's not playing good this year, man. He's playing really bad.
Very, very small sample size.
In
so
my
it's hard to
opinion,
say,
in
but-
my opinion, he's just trying to do too much. He's just trying to do too much.
I can't wait
Who's
to
scoring?
see.
Let's go. What are you saying?
I said Robertson.
Which one?
Either one.
All right. Josh?
For the overtime,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it goes to a shootout.
All right. Timmy?
Is Corey Perry on Dallas?
No.
No.
And on
To say Mason Marchment.
He actually could.
Hockenpah. Hockenpah. Yeah, do Hockenpah. What are you doing? What do you got done now? Okay, good.
Cameras are gonna die, so we gotta end it.
Oh, we gotta know who scores.
I mean,
We'll update after.
we'll
All right.
update. Anyways.
I'm so pumped with my Philly hot take.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's gonna
Me
be
too.
interesting. Regardless, lads, it's been fun. This is an hour and a half, is it right? Get in.
So this has been the Second Round Podcast.
Yeah, this has been the second
My
round
name is
podcast.
Zack. That's Josh, and that's Steven, and that's Hags. Because Hags doesn't know how to introduce us. So if you just joined in, that's who we all are.
Rewind.
I don't ever introduce anyone, do
Yeah,
I?
I
you
know
got-
you need to stop thinking that there's only fucking 10 people listening to it. We're fucking going. We're
We're going to the moon, baby.
going up in the world here, buddy.
Second round pod out.
Peace.